All of them probably. Okay. Let's go ahead and test this. Let's stop that. Like you hearing that? Okay. I think. Oh, yeah. Yep, I know. I'll get him right now. There you
I
go,
don't
Mike.
think you do know, you piece of shit. I'll kill you.
Damn.
He murdered
We'll see
him.
what
Yeah,
nothing.
Mike.
Your brain won't work no more.
How nice that they didn't have to listen to you. They're not going to listen to you all night.
Kill them all, Mike. Kill them all.
I listened to our first
One by
episode
one,
for like
Mike.
5 minutes, and it's this same exact tone of.
Right.
I think the first thing you just said was, "I'm your superior."
Man, where is the first episode? Is that even on here?
Well, it's it's the beta episode, so that was like we're missing a couple.
Well,
and
I
then,
don't like betas.
It's incredible.
I'm an alpha guy
You're an
myself.
alpha, yeah.
That's incredible.
And I said I was
Hey,
better
Sean,
looking
are you
than
playing?
you, and then that's like the first like 2 minutes of the episode. It's just us bickering.
Perfect.
What year was the first episode then?
2016.
29
I got a little. I got
2016?
I got a few. I got a few
Damn, that's
facts
before
here.
my
I got a
time.
few facts
Alright.
about what was happening on that episode. We'll talk about during the show.
All right.
That was before my time because I started watching you like 2017, 2018.
Y'all are old.
And not even like every week. It was
Sean was
like
still
a
playing
once in a while
Battlefront 2.
shit.
I never stop, baby.
I'm sure you didn't.
Shout out to PUBG for bringing us together as a family.
That's right. All right. I think we're ready. Mike, you ready?
I'm ready, sir.
Let me
Chad,
do a
go
tweet of
play
my
Idle
own.
Showdown. Chad, let's go. Chad, let's play Idle Showdown. Let's go. See,
Oh,
that's
the
only
audio
good
levels,
fighting
everybody.
game. In that game, the special moves are called super chats.
Cool. Okay, you cut it off so people can't see my nipple today. It's starting to soften a little bit finally.
Okay.
What's up with your hard nipple?
What?
I don't know.
He's
My
just
nipples.
very
I mean,
sensitive about his
my
sensitive
nipples
nip.
just been really hard today. I don't know if it's like
All right, I'm
because
gonna
it's warm
try to
outside
find-
and it's really cold inside. I kind of
Test.
keep
Is
going
this-
in and out.
Are these good? These look like good levels. Okay.
Arousal, something like
gonna
that.
hit that button.
Maybe yeah, it's just
You should
Zelda
check-
arousal.
You should like touch like under
Oh,
your
shit.
arm and shit to see
Actually,
if you don't have
everyone, give
anything
me
going on
like
there.
1 minute. Give me like a minute. Just give me a
What's wrong?
second.
Yeah, we
Jeff?
can talk about Idle
I
Showdown.
just want to get a different mortis in here.
What's a mortis?
I'll get it in there and then I'll tell you. If anyone wants to,
Workers and
does
mortis.
anyone here know what a mortis is?
That's
I
what all the
didn't-
kids are saying when you die in a video game.
Okay, that was
So
just dumb.
congrats.
Uh,
Congrats, old man.
I'm gonna go pee then.
Mortis is a
you gonna pee on the
template
sink?
for OBS.
I'm not a freak like my friend.
Are you gonna pee on the sink? He's going to pee on the sink, everybody.
Okay, let's not judge sink peer. Actually, we should totally judge sink peers.
Yeah,
I mean, I already
don't
judged
pee
him
on
for
the sink.
pissing in his backyard, so.
That's true. We piss on the backyard like a fucking hillville. Oh, he can hear us. You're disgusting. You can hear while you're peeing. You loser. I'm so mad at you.
I don't know if I want to
So,
use
yeah,
this one because it doesn't say enjoy your
I'm a Kitty
gaming.
Coco main. Wait, what?
Nothing.
All right, why not fix it?
Yeah, he fixed it. Well, he's already he fixed it a long time ago, and I just haven't done the work to replace it.
That sounds more like it.
Yes.
It's always Chef's fault.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, assuming this is the episode 300, so like we're going super hard into the meaningless.
Yep.
Just
that's
like
right.
300, three times the assholeness.
That's impressive. I didn't think you could do better than we're already
Thank you.
at.
Thank you.
You pride yourself.
Put a little effort in it.
All right, when Mike's back, we'll get started.
Is the sink too far away? Is that why he's...
Yeah, the sink is not right next to the computer. The weird thing, weirdly, the toilet is, but he prefers the sink.
Yeah, it's weird. Is it something like Poop City Slama Jama?
Is it a bigger target? Like, I know it's a shallower target, but is it a
All
bigger
right, shut the hell up.
target?
Let's get going.
If
I got
it's like a laundry room sink, that
Let's
could
talk
be
about the
deep
mechanics.
and wide.
That's true. That's like a bucket.
this.
It's like a big
I don't
bucket.
know.
In 5, 4, 3.
Poop City Slama Jama.
The internet, you're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Game Mess Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb, and with me is
Mike Minotti.
in today's episode, it's 300, our 300th episode, but don't worry, we still don't know what we're doing. We still haven't figured it out. Although we did time this specifically, our first episode, we're like, okay, we want to make sure our 300th episode is on the night that Tears of the Kingdom comes out. So I'm
We
glad
knew the
that worked
name
out.
even.
We
Incredible leak back then.
yeah, we consulted the Stonehenge, and we figured out when to do this. And it's all
The Stonehenge.
the Stonehenge. Yeah, the Stonehenge. It's
No
like
one
the,
calls it the Stonehenge.
Yeah,
You sound
okay.
like a stupid
if you are
idiot.
from there, it's just like the Ohio State University, the
Okay,
Stonehenge.
that makes sense, actually. That's fine.
It's when one of the players from Stonehenge say their name on a football game.
The Ohio State
The
University.
Stonehenge University. Mike,
Yo,
300 episodes is a lot. How did we get here?
that's a lot. I don't know. It was easy, man. Well, back in the day, we just used to do it during work hours. So it's like, yeah, I'd rather be podcasting anyways. But then, yeah, then it like accidentally took off, and then you left. I was like, well, we got to keep doing it. It's fun, and people actually seem to care. So there we are. But man, you told me when we first started, I couldn't believe how long it's been.
Yeah. So we started in 2016. You know what? Let's get into it. Let me just do the intro real quick. Thank you for joining us. You can get more from Mike and me at Discord or on our Discord at GameMess.net. Give us a good rating. Helps people find the show. Hit the thumbs up button. If you want to ask a question, super chat on YouTube during the show. We'll get to all of them before the end. Thank you to Carlos Sain, who's Insane in the Rain music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. Thanks to One Up vs. CPU for our artwork. We got the new Tears of the Kingdom artwork on tonight. You can find more of him at oneupvscpu.com. Thank you to our mods, and support us by going to patreon.com/GameMess. That gets you access to our private channels and our Discord, the monthly Q&A, 1 month early access to our Jeopardy games, participation in our monthly game club discussions, and of course, all of our shows ad-free. All right. 300 episodes. 2016 is when we did our first one. I had it right here. I can double check, but I think it was like the middle of 2016 or whatever. On our first episode, this doesn't feel that long ago because 2016 feels like a long time ago.
We're probably just talking about the Switch or something. Even
The first episode we were talking about the NES Mini. The NES Mini.
Wow, that's right. That was like a whole thing. It was
You
like
just got the NES
big
Mini.
deal.
You got it, and I hadn't
Man.
received it yet, and so we talked
Got
about
mine over
that.
there still.
Yeah, and you were talking that up, and then you also had played Watch Dogs 2, which had
That's
just
an
come
okay
out.
game.
Yeah, and I was
Oh,
like,
very
hey,
okay.
basically the episode was like me saying, like, should I care about that? And you're like, yeah,
Wow.
it's an okay game. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Video games have changed so much since Watch Dogs 2.
VR was the hottest thing, though. We on a couple of
Oh, my
episodes. I don't know if we talked
God.
about it on that beta episode, but like by episode 4, which is actually the next episode on the feed, I don't know what happened to 1, 2, or 3. Watch Dogs 2, or I'm sorry, VR is something we talk about pretty frequently. It seemed like. And also, Conan O'Brien did a video making fun of Final Fantasy 15, and everyone lost their mind. You
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember because like they at the end they show him that giant turtle thing and he kind of freaks out about it. I was like, that looks pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, and you made the point of like Conan. This is just what he does. He doesn't like games. He was never going to like Final Fantasy 15. And
Right, that's the whole joke. Is that they call him the idiot gamer? He plays video games because he doesn't know what's going on,
and that's
likes
that's what makes people laugh.
That's the joke.
Yeah, I do not think Switch had even been revealed yet. That's right, Turbo
Yeah,
Sean.
might have been that patent that was like on IGN of like that guy holding the controller that just had a screen on it.
Yeah,
and like literally the analog stick was just interrupting the screen and stuff. It was like a guy on skis or something in that patent picture.
That's
the stick figure,
something like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we talked about that, but it wasn't like dominating our news at that time even. So
were we still making fun of the Wii U, maybe even, or like talking about their mobile games? Man, weird time.
It was clear, like, because we were talking about the NES Mini. I remember that time being like very much, okay, we know something new is coming, and we know the Wii U's dead. Like they have moved on, but they haven't moved on to the next thing. We're in this weird zone. So it's like, okay, they're gonna make some money with the NES Mini, and then that was like a big thing, and it was like, okay, this is their stopgap. And so yeah, we were just in that in between phase. But yeah, so we had not really sniffed out the NX yet at that point. Not really, not in any real way. Although that conversation would come throughout the rest of that year. But yeah, 300 episodes. I'll tell you what, another thing, our audio quality, surprisingly, just sucked shit. It was real bad. It was real bad. I sounded like I didn't have a voice. I was like, and you had a really bad mic. Like it was just, that's how it was. Well, that stuff improved over time as well. I'm happy we got to where we are. And then people really didn't start listening. Like most of the people here, some people here have been listening for a while. But most people didn't start listening until the last couple of years, 2021, basically 2020, but mostly 2021.
Yeah, you leaked something and then all of a sudden got us on the map. It was good times.
I think it really started with Mass Effect. Even like, cause I did a Nintendo Direct leak before that. That was pretty big. But I don't think people really started listening until the Mass Effect leaks and stuff. And yeah. But hey, to everyone who's been listening, everyone who's been kind of joining us along the way, and Penny, thank you all. This has been a lot of fun.
We'll see if it takes.
Yeah. And you can never know. I don't know. What's your takeaway from 300 episodes, Mike?
That's a lot. Although, like, I did a show with my brother for a while that, it would do okay, but we probably did that even for more than 300 episodes. So
you definitely did. Yeah.
I've been doing podcasts for a long time, so like it's cool that we've been doing it for so long. I'm still actually just blown away though that people listen. I think our last episode of this actually somehow got like 10,000 views just on YouTube, and that blew me away. Every once in a while, I like to look at that like chartable list of like top gaming podcasts. And you see like the kind of funnies and these other big boys up there, and just weird, like seeing my stupid face on there. It's actually really cool, and I'm really thankful for it. Everybody, really appreciate everyone who has ever tuned in, listened, dropped a like, rang the bell, and all that other fun stuff. Thank you all so much.
As part of our 300th episode, we're going to decide the best game of all time. I have no idea how we're going to do that.
Definitive. What I think would be fun?
No, you tell me. I'm happy to hear it.
This new overlay, I'm thinking maybe we can commission another new overlay for the winner, and that could be
that's a good
kind
idea.
Of a way we sort of mark our stamp on that.
That's a good idea. I like that. Then I'm just gonna go with the game. I think it like looks the coolest. So Kuroin for the Game Boy Advance.
That'd be pretty good.
Best game of all time. All right. Other stuff that happened this past week. Zelda reviews are in, Mike. It's like a 96 on Metacritic, 97 on OpenCritic. It's doing very, very well. I think it's doing exactly right, personally.
You haven't played nothing.
I haven't played anything, but I did give it a 96 in our game with Wolf, and you gave it a 95.
No.
So eat shit.
Oh, it's gonna drop. Where are the dissenters?
Drop. It already dropped to 96. That's the thing.
Oh shit!
So it was like 97 this morning for a while, and then it dropped to 96. So, yep, I'm feeling pretty good about that one. That score, there's always anxiety around these things. There is some. Why so low for a 96 for Tears of the Kingdom? I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I feel like that's pretty fucking stupid.
Yep.
Especially these days and age when you have like think about Breath of the Wild, which most people are like, yeah, obviously one of the best reviewed games ever, one of the most important games of all time. Like, if you talk to 100 people, you're going to find more than 1 out of 100 who's going to say, I don't like the game. I don't like weapon degradation, blah, blah, blah. Right? So, like, of course, there's going to be a couple people even here, there aren't that many. There's like a few scandalous 80s, and then like one person who gave it a 60 out of 100 who's probably getting harassed or being accused of like trying to like, it's all stupid and annoying. So this is an insanely good score, especially. I mean, look, I think people would have given to the game a little bit if it really did feel kind of samey or had major technical problems or things like this. I haven't really dug into any of these reviews too much, Jeff. I actually kind of just would rather play it at least a bit and then maybe read some more about it because I'm super excited. I'm ready to go. I'm going to a midnight launch at a GameStop after this. Haven't done that in a long time.
That's pretty exciting. I'll be doing the midnight launch here digitally, but I'll be excited to hear about your adventures and see what it's like. I hope it's fun. I hope a lot of people show up. I hope it has that celebratory atmosphere that midnight launches used to have.
I'm almost not expecting it, but man, they used to be. I mean, it's weird because at that same GameStop, I remember going for a midnight launch for Final Fantasy 12, which was a late PlayStation 2 game, but a PlayStation 2 game, you know?
Right.
So it's not nuts to imagine.
Yep, that's just, it's not something that really happens anymore. And not something I've done in a very long time.
That's like I can imagine happening. I mean, they might even still do it for the Call of Duties, but like I don't care about that anymore. But there's nothing else I really think kind of will bring the boys to the yard, as they say.
Yes, but this one is and does have the capacity to bring the boys to the yard. I have paid a little bit of attention to the reviews. Even that 6 out of 10 was exactly the kind of review I expected from at least someone to be like, hey, I didn't like sort of what the Breath of the Wild, and this is very in that same vein. It's like, oh yeah, that of course there's going to be people out there who feel that way, and this is the review for them. But it's like, but it is more. It is a lot more, and that's what every other review kind of gets across. Is just there's so much more than what you're expecting, and it's all very good. And this is for the next month. This is what I'm going to be playing, and I just can't wait. But it's, and I guess by the time we're done with this, it's going to be pretty much upon us. So it's going to be right there. You're going to run off. I'm going to go probably play. I'll probably just kill the time by playing a little bit more Jedi Survivor, and then Zelda will be on my Switch ready to go. So I'm looking forward to it.
I am kind of like, I'm going to really wait now for that next Jedi Survivor patch. Actually, now that I've kind of made it this far with Zelda and everything, what is my hurry?
Yep. No, for real. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to go that way. Mortal Kombat 1 details are coming in. I'm pretty excited about this. I'm in the fighting game mood in general. I had some fun playing what little I did of that Street Fighter 6 demo on a UPF that we did. And then I'm like, oh yeah, the Mortal Kombat games have those really cool story modes, and I'm like going to go back and play through those, I think, and get ready for Mortal Kombat 1, which seems to be what the common consensus is about what the next Mortal Kombat game is going to be. And it's very easy to make that leap because they put out a video where a clock is ticking and it's hitting 9, 10, 11, and then it skips 12 and goes to 1. And that lines up very much with the idea of they're skipping the number 12, going back to 1. And it also lines up with where the story went at the end of 11. This isn't too surprising. I'm kind of excited about that prospect. They can do a lot of fun stuff with re-exploring the storyline of the first game. I know they've rebooted this stuff a bunch of times, but still, I think they can have fun with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure whatever they do is going to be good. They've been killing it with the Mortal Kombat games ever since they rebooted it with Mortal Kombat 9, just called Mortal Kombat. But that game was already the big reboot of, well, let's redo the storyline of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, but with some twists because there's a little bit of like a time loop thing happening. And then even in the last one, in 11, there was like time travel involved, so we did see these like Mortal Kombat 1 era versions of these characters again. So I guess I'm kind of hoping it is a bit more than just we're remaking Mortal Kombat 1. I hope there is some kind of a fun twist on it, or maybe like they mean something else by Mortal Kombat 1. I don't know. It could be something we're not expecting. There's also like, because there are a lot of those newer characters from these games that I actually do really like. I like some of those combat kids. I think Cassie Cage is a really fun character. There's that cowboy guy, Aaron Black. I actually like him a lot. So I would kind of miss some of these newer characters. We just went full on super old school original cast kind of stuff.
I hope they find ways to to loop those new things back into the original story. I hope that's what they're doing by going back to 1. I hope it's not just a straight up plain reboot, because that's not as exciting as trying to continue the story while also remaking the first one. And again, I said this on, I can't remember now, maybe it was Game S Mornings, but sort of like the Kelvin universe in Star Trek, but maybe with even more crossover with the original.
Yeah, but that's
timeline.
like literally what Mortal Kombat 9 was. It was literally like the end of Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Raiden has like a time swapper thing and just like goes back in time, and he's the only person with like knowledge of the future, kind of a thing. Like,
right.
that's what it was.
I would want more bridges between the various timelines. That's where I want the difference.
I just want
to be.
Smoke. Smoke hasn't been in one since Mortal Kombat 9.
Striker.
I love Smoke.
Yep.
I do like Striker. I'm surprised you like Striker because he is a cop. I mean, I
but
like Striker.
he looks like a really shitty cop. That's what I like.
He is a really shitty cop.
He's wearing cargo pants.
I also hope, Mortal Kombat 11 especially, instead of just doing the route of like just having a bunch of horror icons and as guest characters, they were just like, let's just have all the rated R action movie characters in here. So, it was, you had RoboCop versus Rambo versus the Terminator. Granted, it was like the Terminator from the new movie, but that was really cool stuff. I could almost do a whole video game that was just that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like John McClane
I would love
versus RoboCop kind of stuff. But I hope they have something else fun for the guest characters this time. Although they also had Spawn in 11. Spawn is this guy just keeps showing up in my video games, specifically my fighting games.
Whore. He's a slut.
I'm like, who likes Spawn? Yeah, I think I said this before. Spawn is in so much stuff, and he's so recognizable to me for a character that I don't actually know anybody who likes him. There's Spawn.
I'm afraid of you saying that because you're going to bring the Spawn freaks out of the woodworks, and they're going to show up and be like, "It's me. I'm the Spawn fan."
They're all stuck in the 90s.
And
they can't hurt me here in 2023.
Yeah, I don't want to meet a 2023 Spawn fan. That sounds like a very
I
bad
do think
thing.
in Mortal Kombat 11, because I was watching clips, I think it was Lance Reddick who was the voice of Spawn in that. And, he
really?
sounded cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That sounds right. Yeah. Oh my god. Now that I'm like hearing it in my head.
But man, like they do RoboCop, and it's literally Peter Weller, right? I'm just catching up. I'm learning a lot of RoboCop lore for the first time. And he's just like saying these lines, and he has specific like exchanges with the Terminator, voiced by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and with Rambo, actually voiced by Sylvester Stallone. And you have like these different intros, and like the one RoboCop intro is actually just him like stepping out of his police car, and it looks just like that awesome poster for the first movie. Like, man, they are very good at the aesthetics over there at NetherRealm, and they've actually also made the games really fun too. Like, people take Mortal Kombat more seriously as a funny game now than they even did back in its arcade day when it really was pretty much all flash. So, whatever it is, I am very excited. I think NetherRealm is great right now.
Nintendo Switch hit 125.62 million consoles sold. Nintendo reported its earnings. It made $6.6 billion in profit over the last 12 months. That 125.62 million was after adding 18 million, or just about 18 million, like 17.9 million, which was down 22.1% year over year in terms of consoles sold. Nintendo originally at the beginning of the year, you might remember, was forecasting 21 million consoles sold, and they revised that a couple times, eventually down to 18 million, and they got to 17.9 million. Software units also dropped to 9% year over year, but they did get to the coveted and never before reached by Nintendo 1 billion pieces of software sold. That is really kind of the thing that matters more than consoles, more than anything else, because
sure,
the Wii sold a lot, and the Wii software was nowhere near a billion. At least I don't think it was near a billion. And even if it was, a lot of those were probably discounted games from budget bins, something Nintendo themselves at least don't do anymore. So the Nintendo in a very strong place in terms of going into the seventh year of its console, or going through the seventh year of its console, and now expecting to sell about 15 million Nintendo Switches over the next fiscal year. Although they admit that's going to be pretty tough, but that's their current forecast. They say they're going to do everything it takes. And to that point, the Nintendo Switch Tears of the Kingdom OLED version is off to a pretty strong start, according to early reports from places like the UK. How are you feeling about the overall Nintendo Switch ecosystem and its health going forward?
Great. Hey, I'm going to awkwardly take things back to Mortal Kombat for a second.
All right, let's do it.
Because Canoodle in chat said that Jez says that they might have Homelander and Peacemaker.
I didn't know if you knew who Homelander or Peacemaker was. So I wasn't
know who
sure.
they are.
Okay.
But I am upset because these are people from TV shows I don't watch. I'm like, oh, damn it.
Okay, well,
I didn't play enough of the one that had the cool movie people from good
Homelander
movies.
and Peacemaker. See, this is why I don't want to bring it up, because it's like, that's really reductive to say from TV shows I don't watch. Like, they're both Peacemaker and Homelander are both comic book characters. Yes, they're
Oh, no one cares about their comic book stuff.
okay, fair enough. But they're going
to be those TV show
They
versions.
do come from comic books, right? And also those TV versions are both very good. Like they're both
That's fine.
Really good.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for me personally, don't give a shit. That's like I would have been much more happy if it was like, here's RoboCop.
Yes,
again.
also,
I haven't seen RoboCop.
Also, Peacemaker is literally just John Cena just being kind of hella John Cena.
Me. That made it much closer to me actually watching than a lot of other things, but still, no. Nintendo, yeah, Nintendo.
Uh-oh. Mike, I think you might have muted yourself. No, okay, no, you still can't hear you.
Okay, there it is.
There
the button
all right,
wasn't
we
getting
did
pushed.
it, everybody. Episode
I was trying
300.
to unmute myself. I was trying to unmute myself. But yeah, we're good at this. One thing I wanted to ask you about Nintendo's numbers, because I didn't get to ask you about this on Nintendogs because you weren't there. How do you feel about those Metroid Prime remastered numbers, like 1.07 million?
I wanted it to sell more than that, but also
that's what we're always goddamn saying about Metroid, man. Like,
I know,
come on.
I know, but it's also like it was selling out, like so it's still like over, like it did what Nintendo was thinking. So I don't know.
It didn't sell out on digital. Like more people could have bought it digitally.
Yes.
I said, excuse me. I told chat I would put the Robo mask on if there's a $20 super chat, and Scratty Bones there says it puts the mask upon its skin or else it gets the hose again. So I gotta go grab the mask for a little bit.
No problem.
Right
Absolutely. Metroid. I want it to do better. I think Metroid might just be destined, at least until Metroid Prime 4, to kind of be in this zone, which is a shame. And gamers have disappointed me yet again. This is not on us. This is on the gamers. Oh, God, it's Metroid. They'll know the truth. Sure. Yeah.
It's like the best game of all time, and it's had like 20 years of people talking about how it's the best game of all time. They did this incredible remaster. I mean, you know what I want to blame it on, Jeff, because I'm the one guy who was like, maybe these shadow drops aren't actually a great way of marketing games.
Yeah.
Or, also, again, why is this game $40? Like, I'm happy the game's cheaper, of course, but it's also like, are we undervaluing this? And when like the Kirby remaster is $60, like, what are we saying exactly? What are we saying when Hi-Fi Rush is a $30 game and Redfall is a $70 game? I just don't quite understand.
Yeah, I can't look at you, so I'm going to try to avoid looking over at you while I'm trying to have this conversation.
Engage with me seriously.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to explain other than this is Metroid's fate. Like, this is the level of passion that there is for Metroid. Like the passion is deep. It's just not wide.
It's kind of Mega Man-ish, right?
Yeah.
It's like the people who love they make so much Mega Man merchandise because the people who like Mega Man really like Mega Man. But there's some reason it's like this broader thing just doesn't happen. Yeah, I'm trying to. When did it come out? It was like January, right? It was pretty early in the year. It was plenty of time.
Plenty of time. So it's I do think that, not just the shadow drop, but the delayed physical release. A lot of people still buy games physically. I think people, especially a Metroid Prime game, would really hit with collectors. But you kind of can't sell a game for collectors. And so unless you're who does that? Like literally, right, limited run games and stuff, right? Yeah, exactly, limited run, right? But that's in their name, limited run, right? They are specifically going to limit the number they create so they can create demand. That's what I mean. Like if that's sort of factoring into what you're doing at all, then you're always going to be limited. With that stuff in mind, I suppose hitting 1 million copies sold is actually pretty impressive. But I want more. I want more. It deserves more because it's Metroid Prime. And Christian says, does Mike want Hi-Fi Rush to be expensive? Like, no, it's not that. And like, again, I think it's great for people that it's cheaper, but I do think it undervalues it. And I think it sends a message about what maybe that game's worth. And I don't know. Like, maybe I'm wrong there, but I have a feeling I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. I think that Metroid Prime 4, if it comes out and has really good reviews, I still think it'll have the potential to do around 4 or 5 million. I guess it depends on what's happening with the Switch hardware at that time and how the game comes out. But there's also the possibility that Metroid as a franchise just doesn't jive with that wider Nintendo audience the way a lot of other stuff does. So I mean, but it's still like approaching numbers that like these other games that we do give a good amount of credit for, like a Xenoblade Sure.
Chronicles 3 does hit. So it's not, again, it's like, I don't look at it and be like, wow, this is like a real big flop, but it's also
No.
clearly not some giant home run.
Right. Yes. Yes. I think that's right. I think it's in a very good place for what Nintendo thought it was going to be. I just always think maybe this could be the one that does even more. But hey, I'm glad they did it. I'm glad that it came out the way it did. Next time though, Metroid Prime 4, they better give a real marketing budget to and actually push that game. And
They've been marketing it for years.
Yeah, guess so. They should tell people it's important, and then maybe people will treat it that way.
Hey, everyone. Hey, look at me.
No.
Buy Metroid or there will be trouble.
You gonna shoot their moms?
No, oh, yeah, but that was a direct RoboCop quote.
Okay. All
I
right.
just like him.
The top 10 best-selling Nintendo Switch games, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is at 54 million copies.
A lot of
Yeah, that's a lot of carton. Animal Crossing New Horizons is still number 2 at 42.2 million. Smash Brothers Ultimate is at 31 million. Breath of the Wild about to hit over 30 million. It's at 29.81 million. Honestly, it's probably going to get there here very soon.
I'm so petty. I got one time somebody told me they didn't think Smash Bros. Like a system seller, and I hold on to it forever. And every time you tell me how many tens of millions of copies Smash Bros. Sells, I'm like, yeah, Mike, you were smarter than that guy.
Yeah, you definitely were, because Smash Brothers is absolutely a system seller. It's like one of the best system sellers in the history of the world. Like, it's not like it's so much better than anything on any other system. It's only behind 2 other games, and it's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Animal Crossing New Horizons. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is almost 30 million. Pokemon Sword and Shield 25.82 million. Odyssey is at 25.76 million. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet 22.1 million. Super Mario Party 19.14. New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe is at 15.4, and Ring Fit Adventure is at 15.4 million.
Man,
that's pretty
we
good.
have a Luigi's Mansion 3 update also. It's like at 13 million now, right?
Yes, it was approaching 13 million, and now it's definitely over 13 million. So yeah, that's much bigger than most other things. For example, they announced the sales for Horizon Forbidden West at 8 million, and Luigi's Mansion 3 is much more than that.
Right, and it's not like, to be clear, that is a good number for Horizon. Like, that's, of course, yeah, you're selling really well at that number.
Absolutely, they came out and trumpeted it.
Some of these Nintendo games, man, are just, especially if you have a Mario appearing in them, right?
Or you're an exercise game, right? You're the Nintendo exercise game. Okay, and that's $80. Sure, we'll buy nearly 16 million of those. Sure, why not?
Think about that, but whenever they make like a Switch 2, here's Ring Fit Adventure 2. There's 10 million copies sold of that.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Well,
it won't get the pandemic bump, but it will still sell very well. It'll
still sell very well.
All right, those are the big stories from the week, Mike. Should we take a quick break?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. We'll be right back, everybody, after this.
All right. I didn't say I was going to wear this forever.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I got to get another $20 donation, then we'll get back on.
I'm just basically a cam girl now.
Yeah, you do things for tips. That's right. Well, there goes Mikey. When he gets back, everybody will get back into it. We will probably, you know what? I think there's a Benji Bob quiz, right? That's what we're doing, Sean. Should we do that first? I guess we'll do that after some super chats. So we'll get all set up. Let me bring this into the 2-up.
You think he keeps the mask on during sex?
Yes. Without a doubt. No, we don't have to listen to him. We don't have to worry about whatever he's yelling about.
No, he's trying to say something. All I'm hearing is socks off, mask on.
Yeah, and he says no. Nobody cared about how I finished until I put the mask on, and then I think he's. I still don't understand it. What did he say?
Your mom.
Oh.
Likes the mask. Your mom likes the mask.
Oh, she likes the mask. Okay, yeah, she's a big Jim Carrey fan. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, wait, what?
Okay. This is Mike Robo Bathwater Minotti. Yeah, he should sell some of his Robo Bathwater. Absolutely.
Hey, your mom's like the mask when I have sex with them.
Well,
Fantastic.
chill out, okay? Chill.
Fantastic.
They started.
God damn it.
Let's see.
Can't you just be normal for one episode?
Just normal, man. All right, I'm ready.
Normal, man.
All right. Let's do the super chats, and
yeah,
gonna get to that. Okay. And we're back. Mike, we got a bunch of super chats that we're going to read before we get into some of our other things that we're going to decide this week. Go ahead and read some.
Oh, Greg says, Jeff looks like Frylock from Aqua Team Hunger Force. Mike is sexy as usual.
That's right.
Man, we're getting compared to Aqua Teen like crazy.
I want to be Meatwad. I've always wanted to be Meatwad.
Well, you're not, apparently.
I guess not. I got French fry hair.
Yeah, and I sound like Master Shake. I wish I liked that show more because it would make this all funnier. So even when I was like a kid, I was like, this is a bit much.
Sure, yeah. It was never my favorite. It was definitely never my favorite.
It's like Space Ghost was the right amount of irreverent for me.
I liked C-Lab 2021. Like taking
that's that first wave of those shows. Yeah, then like Aqua Teen, and then like the hillbilly squids or whatever.
Sure, yeah,
is a bit much.
Squidbillies,
maybe I just got older. Squidbillies. Okay, Mike Griffin says, congrats on 300. Been listening to you guys for 2 years, but I'm always listening while welding, so I usually don't catch it live. Thank you, Beef and Cheddar Boys, for getting me through the day. Thank you, Mike. Thank you to everybody who just listens, doesn't necessarily is able to chat with us or send super chats or anything. We appreciate all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all so much.
Nintendo says, happy 300th. Wearing the Here Lies E3 shirt for it. There you go. That was more prophetic than we thought. Dorachi says, congrats on 300, Beef and Cheddar Boys. Here's to 300 more. We could do it. What year would that be then? This took about 7 years, so we'd be getting close to the end of the decade. Maybe
2030. We'll have episode 700 in 2030 for sure.
There you go. Rogers OG says, cheers to the big 300, boys. Have a couple Beef and Cheddars on me. Oh, I will do that.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Christian. He says, happy 300th episode, you idiots. Love you, but don't tell anybody. Aw. Wonder when the last time Christian sent a super chat in is. That's sweet.
It might be his first time. It didn't say his first time, so probably not, actually. Thank you, Christian. I'm not going to tell anybody other than my mom.
Well, I'll have sex with her with the Robocop helmet. Scratty, again, sent something to get me to wear that helmet, so thank you so much, Scratty Bones. Creaky Leg says, hey, beefy boys, happy 300. I have a lot of fun watching you grow and occasionally carving you out of the internet equivalent of marble GIFs. Thank you, Creaky, and thank you for the GIFs.
Thanks, Creaky. I appreciate
enjoy this. Forrest Hollingsworth says, what makes Star Wars dozens of good games but not other big IP like Lord of the Rings? Did they put Gollum out this month to demolish Tears of the Kingdom or bury it? I mean, look, there's no IP like Star Wars for one thing.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, definitely not.
Lord of the Rings, I mean, they try, but it's like even when it kind of like they had the really big swing with the Shadows of Mordor and Shadows of what War from Mordor, those two games, like they did fine. They're cool, but they weren't these giant successes necessarily.
You could do anything with Star Wars. Like you can, it really is, especially in video games. Movies, they've been struggling a little bit more to do anything, although they're starting to find their footing a little bit there. With video games, it's like, yeah, there's spaceships, but then then you could do a Star Wars Twisted Metal for the PlayStation. I mean, you could do that, and it's like, yeah, this is fine. This is a playground for these ideas, totally. And Lord of the Rings is a little bit more uppity.
Like the Pandemic literally tried to just make Star Wars Battlefront, but with Lord of the Rings, and it didn't sell. I kind of liked it, but it just didn't do that well, you know. They should try to make another layer style game in Lord of the Rings. There you go. Fitzer says, I'd like to hire Jeff as a private dingus and have him look into who's now developing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Paradox still hasn't said after 2+ years since swapping developers.
Yeah,
what's going on with Vampire?
I know. Whenever I ask about this, I never get anywhere. So I'll look into it again and see what I could do.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't care about that game, or I'd be frustrated.
Yeah, it's gotta be frustrating for that fan base.
The Uncharted Wolf says, love you guys. Thanks for giving me the opportunity with the Metacritic predictions game and letting me have fun with y'all. Here's to 400. Thank you, Wolf. We appreciate it. We have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, for sure, Wolf. Thank you.
And the test right now says, congrats on your 300th first podcast. Thank you.
That's right. That's what it is.
Thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all of you. It's been a lot of fun.
All right. Let's get set up for the show, Turbo Show. Oh, you're already streaming. Look at that. Let me get this in here. This is going to take a second.
Grug just now up says mask on or shirt off. Both are fine. No shirt off. Whoa, I'm dropping my big D whistle. Low D whistle. Congrats on 300. Also, any updates to the game mess schedule?
I mean, not much.
You're the one who's saying when this Sony thing's happening.
Yeah. That was the big update this week. Is that the Sony showcase is currently scheduled internally for the week of May 25th, and it's probably May 25th by the latest. So I would continue to think that's probably going to happen. Let me see. There we go. There's that. Yes.
Right.
So that's the big update. And then, Devolver Digital said that they would have their thing. And that's probably going to happen around that same time as everything else. But I'll do another sort of blast with like the full schedule here in the next couple of days.
Corey Morin. Oh, we got some super chats coming in. Thank you so much, everybody. Corey Morin says 300. Woo! What's the game that made you a better person?
I think Octodad was one that was like very introspective for me. It's like this person that's like clumsy and trying to like fake it until he makes it. And it's like it was sort of fun to like examine that feeling about myself through a game, and it did a really good job of that.
I think Final Fantasy 14 was actually pretty important to show me that toxicity that I just assumed was almost like a part of playing online games like World of Warcraft actually isn't necessary and doesn't actually have to be a thing. And it's in fact much better without that and without you having to feel pressure to contribute to it. So there's something, maybe a stretch. Forrest Hollingsworth says, it's hard to read these for some reason. I didn't know we were supposed to be nice when I asked about Gollum. Happy 300. Oh, you're great. I mean, look, to be clear, no, Jeff's a little bit nicer about that Gollum game than almost anybody else I know.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, maybe I just have low expectations for a Lord of the Rings game, but I'm like, yeah, this looks whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a disaster.
That's fair.
Ben S. with the first super chat. Thank you so much. Says, congrats, big dogs. Here's the 300 more. Can you believe that there weren't any racing games on GQ's top 100 list? What racers should be on there? Yeah, there are always going to be genres missing because they're not super hot right now, like real-time strategy games.
Yeah, it's hard to get like
just
every genre and like into a top 10.
There.
Like top 10s are a very specific thing in a lot of people's heads, and I think most people convincing them to put a racer in their top 10 is always going to be an uphill battle. But it's definitely there's definitely a racer that's one of the top 100 games of all time. I mean, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just incredible. I love playing that game.
Yeah,
I think I did put it in my top 100.
Yeah, like historically, like Gran Turismo and Gran Turismo 2, super important. You know how much I like Ridge Racer Type 4, obviously a ton. There's a lot, Burnout 3, Burnout Paradise. I like F1 Racer. A lot of racing games that I would have in my top 100 and probably do. Jayton says, happy 300th. Love you both in the community lots. Thank you, Jayton. Thank you for sticking around, hanging out with us. Edward says, "Yo, are not bad. Congrats on 300. Thank you."
Thanks, Edward. That's where we try to aim to be. Not bad.
And JD Kemp says, "Have 300 pennies," and he did just that. Thank you, JD Kemp. Appreciate all of you. Thank you. We're gonna do this game now, but we want to set. Oh my gosh, there's one more right now I got to read because it's a very nice one. Thank you, Green Thumbs. He said, "I've decided that Game Us Decides is the best podcast ever."
That's right.
Wow. Okay, maybe it's a toss-up between this and Last of the Nintendogs. May your games forever be messy. Yeah, I think I said this before, but like me and Jeff both liked video game podcasts. Specifically, One Up Yours.
Yeah,
was like I think our first real big gaming podcast love. So like, and even back listening then, I always thought how cool it would be to do a show like that. I remember like seeing things like people posting in forum, like pixel artwork of those guys, like, wow, they're so cool. It's like anytime anybody like makes a little like art thing or just like clip something or make a GIF, like seriously, every single time something like that happens, it really makes my day.
Yep,
same
here.
Still, yeah. So you guys have really given us a lot of happy feelings the last few years. So thank you all very, 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 very much. All right, that's enough of this sentimental shit. Let's destroy Jeff Grubb in a game.
All right, let's hand it over to Sean. Sean, what do we have here?
Today we have Closest to the Messy Pin, Volume 8, aka Episode 300 edition. It's a very special edition of everyone's favorite game show within a podcast that Mr. Benji Bob sent over to me.
Thank you, Bob.
Gentlemen, let's get everyone caught up on the rules. If they are not familiar with this game, every round you will be given a certified retro game. The goal is to predict the game's Metacritic score as it stands on Metacritic.com. Your goal is to get as close to the score as possible. So for every point deviated from the actual score you will gain 1 point. Is it closest to the pin scoring system? AKA golf. You want the lowest score at the end of the game. If you guess the exact number instead of getting 0 points, you will have 5 points reduced from your score. Does that all make sense? Do you guys know what we're doing here?
Yes. Thank you for those rules.
Sometimes I question if you guys do or not. So
that's fair. Yeah. We're real dumb.
I've logged it into my data banks.
Okay.
Last time, I should really be keeping track of this. As
I won.
But
he
Mike won, and I knew that ahead of time.
Do you know how we know? Because he's acting like a shithead.
Yeah, that's usually how I know. Yeah, I've hosted enough episodes of Jeopardy around here. What did he have? Like 97 to your 102 or something?
Something
like
There was
that?
one that destroyed both of us because it was like in the 30s and we thought it was in like the 60s. So
Well, we'll see what happens this time when Jeff, going first, tells me what he thinks 300 March to Glory had on the PlayStation Portable, February 27th, 2007. 31 critic reviews making up this score.
It's a lot of reviews for whatever this is.
Yeah.
Maybe for whatever this is.
For a licensed game on the PSP?
Oh, you said that like you didn't know what I was about to say. Do me and Jeff have to explain what 300 is?
I know what 300 is.
I want to go with 100, but I'm not going to. I'm instead going to go with...
That's probably smart.
I'm going to go with a 50. A nice, cold, round 50.
Right as in the middle average as you can get.
That's right. Mid. I always aim to be mid.
I am going to go with 54.
54 from Mikey. You have marginally more faith in this licensed tie-in game. All right, 300 March to Glory is sitting at a 55 on Metacritic.
Oh,
wow.
Man. Okay.
Man, I would have been real mad if you got that right.
Fact,
exactly right.
That was not a shot in the dark, I swear.
All right, we're going to keep things rolling here. Mike is going to tell me what he thinks Midnight Bowling has, the WiiWare game, October 6th, 2008. 4, count them, 4 critic reviews.
Mike,
the hell is this?
Do you get why this is part of the theme?
Midnight Bowling. I don't know what that's
Bowling, 300 is the max score.
Oh, yeah, that's the best score you can get. That's cute.
There it is.
Yeah, that's neat. I'm going to say a 67.
67, interesting. More faith than 300.
I'm gonna.
How much can you mess up bowling?
I'm gonna say 61.
61. Okay. I feel like this might be great on a curve since we're talking about the console that has Wii bowling.
Maybe.
Sure. That's a good point. But I'm going with
Midnight
61.
Bowling has 37.
Oh boy.
Christ,
Okay. All right.
Woof. Woof.
All
Mark
right.
gains
Sheesh.
30 points. Jeff gains 24.
Oof, okay. It's a big
Which
juicy
means
number.
that, Jeff has taken the lead here. Mike has 31. Jeff has 29.
Certified banger, says Bob.
Game number 3. We're going back to Jeff this time. Tell me what High Velocity Bowling has on the PlayStation 3, December 6th, 2007. 14 critic reviews.
2007. So is that too early to be a PlayStation Move game? Probably not. How many? 14 critic reviews? Man.
14, yeah.
I'm going to go with a 50.
Right in the middle again.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Yeah, thank you.
Mike?
It's like after that last one, I want to go low. Again, how bad can you really mess up bowling? It's definitely before the move though, so it should be harder to mess up. I'm gonna say 53. I have some faith in High Velocity.
A little. Yes,
bitch.
now you're locked in. I can say this was like a solid, 3 or 4 years before PlayStation Move. So this was definitely just I wonder if this has 6-axis controls.
That's wait, shit. It might be even worse than Move. Damn it! Now I think when you say that, oh no.
High Velocity Bowling has a 66.
Okay, that's
on
pretty
Metacritic.
good.
That's like twice as good.
Man, that's a good order. Also, if you want to kill all the Jedi,
Yeah,
except for like the 50 that are going to show up in future shows,
right.
and
The ones that
movies.
survive. Yeah.
I like the way this math is turning out because now Mike is taking a lead with 44 points to just 45. Very good.
Close
very
game.
good.
There it is.
All right, game number 4. Michael, I need you to tell me what Cave Bowling
God damn it!
released for iOS January 18th, 2011 has, based on one more than the Wii game, 5 critic reviews.
Is this back when like people reviewed mobile games still? Remember that? It was a
Oh
weird
yeah.
time.
I actually kind of don't.
All right, my score's a 44. I'm gonna guess a 44.
All right.
Can't argue with that.
Cave Bowling for iOS. I'm gonna bet that I'm gonna go higher. And I'm gonna try to put the game right away right here, or give it to Mike. I'm gonna go
What,
with
45?
I thought about it. I'm gonna go with a 62.
Ooh, okay, 62. I love how you guys are just like, F it, we're just swinging
What am
for
I
the
supposed to
fence.
do?
Yeah, what are we
There's
supposed to
only
do?
So much
Right.
educational
You're supposed to
guessing
know
I can do here.
more. You're supposed to do your research coming
My
into
bad.
this.
Uh-huh.
Cave Bowling, the iOS classic at this point, has a 82
Okay.
on
What the fuck?
Metacritic.
I'm like, I was pretty sure, like, because mobile games back then would have had
The
a lot
expectations are so
a
low.
lot of leeway. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Holy shit.
Going into the final round, Mike has 82 points on the board. Jeff has 65. I'm going to bring back my classic joke. No, this is not basketball. This is golf. Jeff, I need you to tell me what you think. Brunswick Pro Bowling has
Okay.
the Xbox 360 Kinect game, February 15th, 2011. 4. We are back down to 4 critic reviews.
I am gonna go with a juicy 50 one more time. Give me 50, please. Put 50
Damn it,
on the
that's-
board.
Wait,
All right.
I messed that up. Let's see. What were we at?
What was I at? I was like
Where's
60.
the round button?
I can go back. You were at 65.
65. Okay, thank you.
All right. I have to hope for something low here. That's really my only hope. So I'm going to say he's beating me by quite a bit. I'm going to say a 30.
Okay.
Is that
I'm
enough?
just at-
I don't know, but math's hard.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just so eager to press that button on the bottom.
If it's
been so
30
much
on the
fun.
button.
Brunswick Pro Bowling, Xbox 360 Kinect, so definitely motion controlled,
Yes.
has a 44.
Yes! Yes.
Damn it.
Yes.
Got destroyed. Jeff way more tuned with the bowling scene
Yes!
than I am.
And that's
Which means that-
that's one below par.
Wow, look at that.
At
Oh,
the
cute.
end of the day, Mike has 96 points on the board. Not quite triple
That's a
digits.
Tears of the Kingdom.
That's right. Congratulations.
Congrats, Mike. You're the winner in
I
spirit.
think we made
The,
a joke about a
the
Red Bull
act-
score last time.
Yeah, that sounds right.
the actual winner tonight, Jeff, with 71. Congratulations, Jeff.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you, Sean, for running that show for us. I appreciate it, man.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for letting me and Bob contribute to the show.
Yep.
with
Thanks,
us.
Bob. We appreciate
Thank you,
it.
guys.
All
Eat
right.
shit, Jeff.
We're going to take one more quick break. We're going to get right back into everything right after this.
I think I might take one more little peek try.
Yeah, do that.
One
I'm
more
just going to
peek
fix up the
try.
cameras and then we'll be good. There's Mikey.
Yeah, make sure there's nothing at the end of this. Nope. Okay, cool.
There we go.
Do you open up a dock, Jeff?
No, but I will. I'll get that going right now. I'm going to go to Sheets.
I love that when Benji Bob came to me with this one, he was like, so I had this great idea for the episode. And then I looked at Metacritic to see how many games had 300 in the title. I was like, shit.
I could tell
So the
by the
hard
second
pivot.
bowling game that, I see what's going to have to happen here. Yep.
It's a good bit.
Yeah,
I
that was
appreciate it. It's a
pretty good.
bit.
That was pretty good. Hey guys, what are we on the P count for Mike on this episode?
3. I don't know if they knew, but there was one beforehand.
Oh my god,
He's your leaky friend, just like Dan Reichert is to Giant Bomb.
That's right. He's the leaky friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was only one 300 game, huh?
I checked. There were some 3,000 games, but
Okay.
that's bending too much.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
You know what? I'm gonna run real quick. I'm not peeing. I'm just gonna get some antacid.
Yo, it's mod
He's
hour.
being on
person.
the sink. He's being on the sink. Yeah, Idle Showdown. Let's talk about it. It's pretty good.
Well, okay, so I watched Max play a little bit of it. It seems like very high energy. Like you got some big combos in there. You got those VTubers slapping each other around a lot.
Yeah.
Yo, this chick got a gun. She got like
Yeah.
pistols and a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that?
One of them has a fucking chainsaw. It's fucking raw.
That's nuts, dude. Then there's the one that's horny. I don't know what that's all about.
Oh
guys
yeah, I
talking
don't know.
about me?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about B-tubers, not flesh tubers.
Wow.
Flesh
Wow.
tubers.
Flesh tuber.
Like shit.
We were talking about
know.
P-tubers named Mike Minotti.
Oh man, if I was getting Tears of the Kingdom at the Nintendo store in New York, I'd get a cool pin.
Oh, man.
Ooh,
There.
you
That's
sell
a
that
neat
pin
store.
on eBay for $500.
Man, look at that shield surfing though. Okay, let's see here. I think I'm ready. Yeah, let's bring it back in. Mike, we're back.
Yes.
You, congratulations on losing real bad.
Thank you.
You know what you can win at picking the best game of all time.
We're working together.
We're going to work together on this, and we are almost certainly going to win. Mike, do you have like any idea about how to approach this? I mean,
Yes.
you don't want to do a Mount Rushmore of the best games of all time. You want to just pick the best
picking
game.
the one. And we're just
Okay.
gonna talk it out. We're gonna just think about games we think should be considered and talk it out. And yeah, we'll our powers combine. We'll figure it out. It's in there. It's like the block of marble. Like I know there's a statue in there. I just gotta get rid of all the excessive marble. We just gotta get rid of all the games that aren't the best game ever, and then we'll be fine.
Okay. I'm getting a sheet ready. I'll bring it up for everybody in a second. But
I got a couple more super chats while you do that.
sounds good.
Curry Douglas here says, congrats on 300 episodes. Are you all interested in the ROG Ally? Yes, I am interested. I want to
I'm interested too.
hopefully check that out. Shrek says, happy 300th podcast. Keep up all the good work, y'all. Even the mods in their mod hole. Thank you, Shrek. Now, he didn't say to put the helmet on, but it is the amount I said I'd do it for. So
Yeah, I
here
think
we
you
go.
just have to do it. I think you just have
for
to
a
do
bit.
it. Okay. Let's see.
Thank you,
I'm just
Shrek.
gonna Adjust. Whoa. Oh my God. Fucking stay where you're
Rubber
at.
Mitch is in this bitch.
There he is, everybody.
Fantastic.
All right. Bring you up there, and then we are once again
Benji
good.
Bob says, just for old time's sake, Mike, can I get a heart? Oh, that's right. There's that one episode where I was just giving everybody hearts. I'm glad you all still remember that.
Oh,
There you
yeah,
go.
Look at that.
There's a heart, Bob.
I forgot
Old
about
time's
that.
sake. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
Anything? Any other super chats, Mike?
We are caught up for now.
Okay.
It's going to keep standing. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. But we got busy work to do now. Important work.
All right, Mike.
Yes.
Is it Super Metroid?
Well, Super Metroid is certainly up for consideration.
All right.
Yeah, God. And you know what? Whenever I think about top 100 lists or best games lists, I still go back to that one EGM did a while ago. For some reason, like that was back when I never took an outlet more seriously in my life than I took EGM back then. So to me, it was like, well, if EGM says it, then it's true. It's Super. It is Super. It is Super Metroid. Gosh, I just love everything really about that game. There are maybe a couple parts that, and I like some of the obtuseness about the Metroidvanias and a Metroid, and like, ooh, you're not sure where to go. There may be a couple parts where it's a little bit rough and a little annoying, and maybe you're just better off getting outside help. But otherwise, just the game looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It's such a fun, interesting world. It has, it's like one of the first games where I ever really thought about atmosphere and how much that can do for a game. One of the all-time best ending sequences in any video game ever. Also, I just don't know what my real complaints would be about Super Metroid. Love it.
Yeah. Let's see. I went to EGM issue 100. And they gave Super Metroid was their number 6 game in that issue.
Interesting.
I think there was definitely another one because this was like from what 1990.
Maybe I'm just making this memory up, but I know there was something.
No, I think they did it. I think they did it again in like the early 2000s, and that's when it was number 1. But this is like issue 100, which would have been still in like the late 90s. And
what's their 100 at this point?
What is number 100?
I mean number 1. Excuse me.
No, yeah, no problem. So number 4. Wait, where's number 5? Okay, so number 5 is Street Fighter 2. Number 4 is Super Mario 64. Number 3 is The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Number 2 is Super Mario Brothers 3. They said All-Star Edition, which is just wrong. And then number 1 is Tetris. That sounds right. I remember that. But yeah, okay. Well, there you go. So hey, wait, is Tetris the best game of all time?
No. And I saw a couple people in chat say that. We also got some input from our podcast producers we can check out later. I mean, I like Tetris a lot, but I don't know. I feel like I maybe don't like it as much as some people, because I am always actually a little surprised when I do see it on like even top 10 lists and stuff. It's very good. It is probably the best of like those drop down puzzle games for sure. Super important and all that stuff, but I don't know. I can't really say. Like, you're asking me, I can have one game. Is it really going to be Tetris? No. And I know some people might say, yes, well, it's so replayable. I bet I'd get tired of that eventually.
Yeah, I really like Tetris. I think it is a very well designed video game. I don't need to put it up there on as my number 1 though. It isn't the number 1 video game of all time. I don't think. I think maybe if you're trying to build a best list for a very broad audience, Tetris needs to be very high, I think.
Right. Well,
but
plus,
yeah.
it's like, what do you mean when you say Tetris? Because we do mean a specific video game. So are you talking about Tetris for the Game Boy? Well, that's missing some quality of life things, even though like that and the NES one are so important. Tetris Effect is really, really good, but it's not as important as like the older Tetris is. So it gets a little murky there.
Right.
It's like we can't just award the nebulous idea of Tetris.
All right, I'm going to write down Tetris DS, and then I'm going to delete it.
Tetris DS is the best. Well, besides for Effect.
I like Tetris Effect the best now, but there we go. All right. It was written down. It has been deleted. All right, Mike. I put Super Metroid on there. What else are we putting up for consideration?
I think we should talk about Mario 64 right now.
Yeah.
Which, go ahead.
It's just when I go to play a game, I want it to feel like Super Mario 64. I want the character to move like Super Mario 64. I want the jumping to be as satisfying, because to this day, just jumping around in Super Mario 64 feels good. It's got the great wall jump. It's got the great triple jump. It has the fun, colorful world that you can explore, and it's these pretty substantial areas to explore back then, and still to this day, it's like, well, they're pretty dense. There's always something going on in all these stages. It's a really, really good game.
It really is, and it also just. It still holds up. It is still super fun. But man, back in 1996, when we were coming from a completely different era of gaming, it's not even the graphics. Like, we all knew polygons were going to happen. We all played Star Fox. We all saw Toy Story. We all understood that. But just actually playing a 3D game that felt like that controlled like that moved like that really just showed us what was going to be possible with this new technology. It's still the most mind-blowing, like, I can't believe I'm like in the future now thing the first time I played Mario 64. It was incredible. Like, I still distinctly remember that first time playing it at a demo kiosk in some Toronto theme park back in the day, because they had demo units before the system came out. It's incredible.
Yeah, yes, it was like kind of, maybe it was you had to be there sort of thing, but yeah, playing it at Toys R Us after reading about it so much, for me personally, where I was like, man, this game looks impossibly futuristic. I remember at the time, everyone in the video game magazines talking about, hey, we kind of just expect them to make a more powerful Super Nintendo, and the next Mario game that's almost certainly going to launch with the system is going to look a lot like Super Mario World, but probably have some 3D stuff in it, and it's going to play like a 2D game. And then they went and made the quintessential 3D game out of the gate in about 18 months. Yep. It is to solve as many problems that they solved, while also not just like solving those problems in a utilitarian way, where like, okay, that problem's solved. They went the extra step and made it all fun. It is, to me, it's a profoundly important game. For sure. Yeah.
The important factor. It's not all about importance factor.
No, definitely not.
Importance factor is off the scales.
Yes.
With 64. I guess before we move on, like, are there other Metroid or Mario games that should be considered? I guess, right now we could talk about Metroid Prime.
Yeah, I think Metroid Prime should
The other one.
should be up there. Yes, Metroid Prime is another. I mean, in this Super Metroid, it should get the credit for the Metroidvania stuff. But
Yes.
Metroid Prime showing that can work in 3D and just being an exquisitely designed video game that has great pacing and amazing art direction and an amazing atmosphere. Most games still struggle to get anywhere near the amount of atmosphere that Metroid Prime has.
No, and that was so clear, like playing that remaster, which, yeah, like improved the controls, improved the graphics, but still, it's just that game, and it still just feels better and is like a more interesting game to play than the vast majority of stuff we get now. It's just so much fun. It's just so interesting. Love that game.
Yeah. I wrote down Metroid Prime on the list. I'll bring the list back for everybody here in a second. In the meantime, any other Mario games? I really like Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, actually, that's actually the one I would probably consider the most, which is just really almost perfecting that 3D Mario style, streamlining it in some really clever ways, like no more lives, no more jumping back into the levels, just making it more of this scavenger hunt and less mission based. The added mechanics of Cappy are so fun. Like literally the capture stuff is great, but even just like throwing him out and using him as a platform to help it just extend your jumps a little bit. There's all these like times where you think you're breaking the game, getting to somewhere you shouldn't be, and then they just put coins up there because they know you can get up there and they know you're going to do it. That stuff just blows my mind away. I love 3D World. I love the Galaxy games also, but I do think Odyssey is like, if 64 has the importance factor and is still super fun. I mean, maybe Odyssey is not as important, but it just plays so good. I think it's the best video game that's come out in like the last 10 years. It's so good.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say it's chock full of ideas. Again, it's still amazing to play because it's still Mario. I really like the Odyssey concept of this is Mario on an Odyssey to all these different places that are so different. And they're like one level can look so different than the next, and that's sort of how it's how the cohesion comes. Is that, well, no, he's on this adventure that is taking him places that he's never seen before. I like all that stuff a ton. But it's hard for me to like say Odyssey without immediately saying Breath of the Wild, which is maybe a little bit difficult because we're right here at Tears of the Kingdom, and Tears of the Kingdom feels like so many people think it's Breath of the Wild, but even better in a lot of ways. But I haven't played that game.
No, and I mean, hey, it's kind of like what we're talking about. Breath of the Wild's always going to get maybe more credit, I imagine, in the future because it is the first one. Tears of the Kingdom is, doing a lot of similar things. Maybe it's doing them better. Breath of the Wild was just so crazy because it did feel like Zelda was in a funk, and they took that series that was feeling kind of stagnant, got a bit of a boost with Link Between Worlds, which was great, but maybe could have been a one-off, and it was kind of improved things in a different way. And this game basically just reinvented what Zelda should be and what really open world games should be, more importantly. Because even open world games were getting out of control with staleness, man. Like everything had just become Far Cry. We were talking about Watch Dogs 2 earlier. Like that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, yeah, it's, I think I was talking about map games back then. Like they're all map games, and Breath of the Wild was the opposite of that.
Yeah. As we're recording this, we're about an hour and a half away from Tears of the Kingdom launching.
Baby.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild is the immersive sim writ large. It is a big publisher, a big company with a lot of resources and a big IP where they're willing to get it right for a wider audience, trying to do the immersive sim idea. And by that I mean it's like immersive sims are, hey, if you think it, you can try it and maybe it'll work. Well, in Breath of the Wild, that is absolutely true. And for me, as someone who always sort of imagined Zelda should be that, because it's, the core idea was just, Miyamoto exploring these caves as a kid and discovering stuff. And discovery is this idea of something always existed. You just put two and two together and realize it can do that thing. And Breath of the Wild was that experience over and over and over and over again in such a profound way that it's number one on my personal list, and I don't know how much that's going to be different for this declaration of
also
best game ever on this
GQ
podcast.
List that just came out.
It was also number one on that GQ list. But yeah, and I feel very strongly about it. But I'm going to put it up there, of course. But we'll keep talking. We'll see what else.
It should be considered, and
Yes.
it's other Zelda games. Like I know you have this real big affinity with Link Awakening.
Link's
I have a
Awakening,
big
I do.
affinity with Wind Waker. I don't know if either of us are going to try to make a strong point that either are like the best game
No,
ever.
and there's a room for like little wiggling of definitions with like best and favorite and things like that.
There is.
Yeah.
Like my favorite game ever is Mega Man 3. I'm not going to really talk about that for this.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
It's just not that important,
Exactly.
unfortunately.
Yeah, right. And it's we're looking for something iconic for this pick.
Exactly.
Okay, we have.
Well, wait a second. So if we're talking about iconic, like the other next most iconic Zelda games would be the original, which I think for us, like we all just we respect it, we like it still.
I love it.
But
I love it. It's not the best game of all time. It's
Yeah.
very important though.
definitely one of the most important. If it was
Yep.
most important games of all time, it'd be in the top 5, definitely.
I think so.
But and then Ocarina of Time, super important, like this monumental game. But like me and you just don't really have a whole lot of like personal. I don't want to say reverence, but there's I don't know. Like,
I
I'm
was
missing some
there
kind of
and I
connection
loved
to
it at the time, and
Yeah.
it was so important to me. But it is one of those ones that I think has personally suffered from. It has been done better since, and it's on N64, and N64 suffers from occasionally feeling pretty old a lot of the time.
It does. Yeah, somehow Mario 64 gets away with that better than most games, but a lot of 64 games suffer.
Yep. All right, so we have 5 Nintendo games. Do we want to branch out?
Yeah, I knew this was going to happen too. I knew we were going to have to
Me too.
eventually say, all right, let's think about some non-Nintendo games. You know what the first non-Nintendo game that comes to my mind when I'm thinking about the best
The
games
Last
of
of
all
Us, GQ's number 2 game.
time? I always have to remind myself because I
That
don't
you
want to
like
be
it. Yeah.
the guy who doesn't like Last of Us, but it is irritating. I think I put it really well that one time that Last of Us is the game that has the most, it thinks it's the greatest game of all time energy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, whatever.
To like facilitate this, because I have some ideas, but should I bring in some of the non-Nintendo games from the Discord?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to hear what they say, actually.
Okay, let me go ahead and I'll get that real quick. I actually went away from it because I went to something else there. I'll bring it back right now. Okay, so I saw someone say Donkey Kong 94. I love that. Rumhand says Elden Ring, which, boy, that's a very good video game.
It's a very good game. Yeah, it's kind of difficult with all these Souls-like, because it's just been on this upward trajectory. It seems like each one is generally better liked, selling better than the last. There's a lot of them that are very, very important. Elden Ring is like the recency is still pretty fresh with that one. And I don't personally like care for some of the older ones as much. So it's sort of hard for me to be like Dark Souls 1, absolutely the best game of all time. It's definitely a very important game and a very good game. I don't know if I can get that enthusiastic about it.
What about from Bench JC, Final Fantasy 14?
I mean, look, that's number 2 on my personal favorite games of all time. I do love it. And it's just like, there's just something about MMOs. It's always going to be kind of limited. It's almost off on its own thing. It's doing it like you. Like it's never going to penetrate even you. Never going to penetrate you. But you know what I mean? Like there's something about
buy me
that.
dinner first.
Yeah, exactly. So it feels like a best MMO list. Yeah, and look, I think if it was 100 games of all time, I think Final Fantasy 14 should be on there. But the all-time number 1, no.
Metal Gear Solid, any of them?
Yes, I think.
Which one?
I think 1 is actually the one.
That's the one I like. But we have let's see, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater from Tears of the Mick Basketball.
Yeah, those are the 2.
Yep.
And it's kind of like what we almost talked about before with Mario 64 to Mario Odyssey, although with less time in between. Where Snake Eater is definitely mechanically more complex. Probably it plays better. It does a lot of things better. Metal Gear Solid 1, it actually has some of that Mario 64 juice in it.
Yeah, it
where
definitely
I
does.
just couldn't believe that video games could do this stuff now. Like it was still like having a voice acting in video games was like kind of cool. Here's like people doing a really good job with the voice acting, and the storytelling is really interesting, and it's interacting with the gameplay, and it's a stealth action game, but there's like a lot of surprising ways you can interact with the world that you wouldn't expect, like using your cigar smoke to detect lasers, using the ketchup bottles you get to like fake the blood, almost like immersive sin elements in a bizarre way. I mean, I still think about Metal Gear Solid 1 all the time, and also even though it's like on the PlayStation, I still love the way that game looks. Actually,
Me too. Oh, absolutely.
Like
I mean,
that is like the ideal
most
low
games
polygon.
should look like Shadow Moses from Metal Gear Solid.
So good
on PlayStation 1. If you get that much going for you, you are so far ahead of the curve because it looks gorgeous. There's so much great art, so much cool inspiration from modern military stuff, and it's done in a stylistic way, so it feels very much its own thing. Yeah, I love the way that game looks.
Right. And again, 3 does so many cool things like that. The sniper fight with the end is incredible. I mean, both of them have good boss fights, but 1 is just more important, and that kind of puts it up ahead. I think 1 is the one we should consider.
All right, I got it on there. Let's see. Let me get back to the Discord here. Okay, looking for non-Nintendo games. Tears of the Boptum says OG Battlefront 2 because fuck you guys.
What if we just said that? That'd be funny.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be very funny if we made it the best game of all time. Final Fantasy 7. You know what?
Like
While I'm saying that, let's just say this other one too. Resident Evil 4.
Oh, interesting. Both games that have remakes. So with Final Fantasy 7, it's like if you're going to pick a JRPG, that is like the one you probably do.
That
pick.
one or Final Fantasy 6 if you're a boomer.
Right, exactly, and I am like, or maybe Chrono Trigger if you're like a hip boomer. I can remember when it absolutely felt like Final Fantasy VII was the biggest, most important game in the world.
Oh yeah, I remember
it was that little window right before Ocarina of Time and Metal Gear Solid came out, especially. Like Final Fantasy VII was just the biggest, most impressive thing. To the point where like it was really mainstream for a game that was like turn-based D&D stuff. Like everybody was playing that game. Such a big deal. It has aged maybe worse than some other games that we could consider. I like its low polygon look quite a bit still, but doesn't hold up as well as even Metal Gear Solid 1 does. The translation's also not great, which is more of a us problem, literally. I also think the story trails off a bit. I think it starts really interesting, being about these eco-terrorists and like all that stuff, and then it just does turn into bad guy want to destroy planet, stop him, and that's less interesting. I know I said this before, people yelled at me like, that's not what happens. Then I asked them, well, will you explain to me what's happening? And then they explain what I say. So.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 from Beasts of the Kingdom. I already put Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on there, but then I erased that and I said Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 plus 2 because, yes, that actually is the definitive Tony Hawk game now.
It is, but again, like importance factor, like 1 and 2 are very important. 3 still felt important even. So that's why like 3 still was in that era of they just kept getting bigger, better, and more important somehow. Like Sky was the limit.
But it doesn't even have everything because it doesn't have the wall plant and it doesn't
have the wall plant.
And it's but it does have the manual and the revert, which are the most important.
Yes.
But I also think that some of the levels from 1 and 2 are a little bit bigger. And I don't know. It's just because 1 plus 2 combines all of the stuff from the levels from 1 and 2, and then all of the move sets from everything through 4. But I like 3's levels a good bit more. Maybe like there's a lot of levels in 1 and 2 that are kind of just cities, and like they're fun, but they don't have a ton of personality like the suburbs do in 3, the foundry, the cruise ship. Gosh, I think foundry a lot.
Yeah. Plus, there's a little recency. I don't want to say recency bias with remakes because who cares? But I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Plus, I don't know why. Like again, like the weird little things that stick out from critics of Gaming Pass. I thought it felt very important when GameSpot gave Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 a 10 because it was in an era where like the last I can remember the last. Brother came.
Yeah,
like the last 10 was like a I can remember when like Ocarina of Time got a 10 and Metal Gear Solid, but it's like been a while, and here's freaking Tony Pro Skater 3, and I was like, yes, let's go.
I'm putting both on there because I want to talk both out.
Even if we didn't really talk about Resident Evil 4.
Yes, Resident Evil 4, yeah.
Yeah, Resident Evil is interesting in general because man, there's a lot of good games in the series. Like I think 1 is so important and awesome. It's super fun. Hey, Chris, can you give me a beer? Not yet. Okay. AJ's bringing the beer. Hey, Chris, what's the best video game of all time? He says the Wind Waker. We didn't put that on here. I said it was my favorite. Here's a $20 super chat. I'll read that later, but I got to put my mask on right now.
There it is.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Resident Evil 4
is probably the Resident Evil game I consider the most very just important. It was really cool for like, it's kind of like that Breath of the Wild thing, right? But even like on a faster track of, oh no, these games are getting stale. Let's reinvent it and accidentally create a whole new genre while we're doing it. It's just incredible. Third-person shooters are, I don't want to say unplayable, but they feel just ancient prior to Resident Evil 4. There's like some good things here and there, like a Max Payne and what have you. Resident Evil 4 threw so much of that out while kind of adding a lot of Metal Gear Solid elements in terms of like storytelling and having fun characters. And the remake, God, that remake is good. Probably the best remake ever. Resident Evil 4 remake. God, I just love it.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, so then how about I'll put Resident Evil 4 up there because I think it probably deserves it. Let's see. I had one in mind. No, not that.
I have one in mind. I'm interested to see if anyone says it. Non-Nintendo.
Right. Yeah,
probably
ahead.
the one I think of first when I think non-Nintendo contenders here.
Yeah, shoot.
Half-Life 2. I think Half-Life 2
yeah, that's
is the
actually the
very
one I was.
first
That's the one I
about.
was gonna say as well. So
yeah, and like the first Half-Life was also really important and helped move the FPS genre along a lot, which is kind of, getting away from the kind of like, level based, find the key card based gameplay that had defined the genre since basically Wolfenstein 3D, and do something more interesting with it. But then Half-Life 2 just upped the presentation to such a ridiculous degree, unseen stuff. Just graphically, even things like the facial capture. Like, it was one of the first games I saw where people's like actually had mouths and not just like the flaps,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know, we could do that. That's insane. And of course, all the physics stuff, which was huge. One of the first major times we saw that, and the gravity gun, just the whole pacing of that game. Again, another one of my just favorite last levels. One of the coolest last level twists is, and it's such it's like they're flipping the idea on the head that the last level's got to be the hardest and the most challenging. It's like, no, you're going to be overpowered now. Here's a gravity gun that it can actually, like the whole game, you have this gravity gun and it's awesome, but it has limits. Like, well, you can't just pick up people with it. That'd be ridiculous. And they're like, now you can do that. Now you can do anything with it. And like, you're doing it in this bad guy, like authoritative asshole who you just hate the entire game is like screaming, practically begging you to stop. It's one of the like most cathartic, best moments in all gaming, just rampaging through there. And there are so many amazing areas. I don't even want to say set pieces because that makes you think more Uncharted. It's not really quite like that, but just these crafted moments, these extended sequences, really, and it all feels so good.
Okay, what about, let's see here. Hitman World of Assassination.
Yeah, that game is very, 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 very good, especially if we're kind of like get the cheat now and just include all three of them, because it really is one thing.
It is one thing now, yes.
When you play it now, it's one thing. I'm not sure if anything actually does that kind of stealth stuff better, and it just feels endlessly replayable. And what's interesting is even though like it kind of like all came out slowly across years, they basically got it right immediately.
Yes.
Like they just had this foundation that even when you're doing that tutorial on that fake boat feels amazing, and you immediately just get it. And it's like, okay, now here's a future where you're going to do like 20 more levels, whatever, just riffing on these ideas of all these interesting, fun things happening on there. And man, the weird thing here is this was a franchise I could not have cared any less about until this. I was like, yeah, Hitman, that's like the kind of Splinter Cell games that are worse, right? I don't know. And then I played this, and I just couldn't believe how good it is. And now it's like it has this amazing freelancer mode that basically just extends the playability till forever. It's insane.
Yeah, it's it really is an example of how to make a modern one of these kinds of games, of just stick with it. If you're going to make stuff that if you want to make like a ton more content and make that a sequel, that's fine. But eventually build it in such a way that you can kind of bring it all together into one place and have it be this mega game, and then find ways to use that content in interesting new ways, like with freelancer mode. So it could be this thing that can live forever. And boy, yeah, it's really good. Okay. There's definitely probably some ones we want to hit before we start whittling this down. Anything else, Mike, that you want to put on? People are saying stuff like Mass Effect 2. I don't think.
I like Mass Effect 2, and I know I don't like it as much as some people, but again, like when it shows up, I think it was like in the top 10 of that GQ list. A lot of people really like Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, it was like that was a huge thing.
It was,
and a lot of people. It's like for a lot of people, that's what gaming should be. It's like a big sprawling sci-fi RPG with a ton of characters.
Right, but in actually like on purposely toned down RPG wise, right from the first one to kind of make it more actiony and fun, and like that could be a disaster, but people actually really took to what they did there, and they did it did make the shooting really well because they got to just say, oh hey, here's what. There's a lineage, right? Well, Resident Evil 4 did this, and Gears of War did that. Now we can just all do that Gears of War thing, and our shooting is going to feel probably pretty good as long as we're not like a Kanan Lynch. Heck, that game probably even has decent shooting. I don't know. But I don't know. It's just, like, the importance factor, except for the fact that people really, really, really love it, isn't super there for me with that. And like that is a little bit of a knock on even Hitman. Like, Hitman feels like it should be bigger, but isn't.
Yep. Symphony of the Night.
Ooh, it's gonna suffer a bit just because like Super Metroid can get a lot of those same flowers.
Exactly. Yeah.
But boy, I love Symphony of the Night, and it's really what kind of took Super Metroid from being like a game and helping turn that into a genre. It's still super fun to play. Still my favorite of those to play, even compared to like the Game Boy Advance ones or the DS ones. And I can do that whole intro. I do it all the time. The "What is a Man" thing. One of the few times where the bad translation actually in the bad voice acting adds to it. I love that shit. It's so campy and fun.
I like Tears of the Snuff Kingdoms. Answer here, Rocket League. That's definitely one of the best games of all time. I'm a big fan of that choice. Gerbear says Spelunky, and then a bunch of people in our Discord laughed at him. And listen, I'm gonna laugh at.
I don't get. Yeah, that's like I think a lot of people with me. Spelunky. I don't get it. I get it
more than I did then. Streets of Rage 2 from Matt Rare Monkey.
Man, I do like beat 'em ups. Again, it's gonna be hard on the importance factor there. If it's like a list of best Sega Genesis games, I consider it. But boy, I do like Streets of Rage 2 a lot. It still probably is the best beat 'em up. It transcends that genre just from aesthetics alone, which is awesome. I guess on that same path, maybe we should talk about Street Fighter 2 because if we're gonna talk about fighting games. That's certainly the most important fighting game, and actually still is a ton of fun. Especially we could just say Street Fighter 2, but especially do like some of the later editions, especially once they added Cammy, which made it twice as good automatically.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they initially, she's got two butt cheeks. That's better than one.
Well, I think they initially gave her a really small health pool because she's a girl, so she must be weaker.
Of course. Cool. Yes. Oh, the 90s.
Cool. 90s.
Yeah. Street Fighter 2 could easily be the top of this list.
And the soundtrack. Whew.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, incredible. God, that I can never remember her name, but the artist that did that music is incredible. Let's see. Chaos Bunkaroo says Honey Pop.
The artist, by the way, is Yoko Shimomura. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts.
Yoko Shimomura. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. I'll put Street Fighter 2 up there.
Did you like my? Actually, I know the name, and I'm going to tell you.
No, I did like it because I wanted to know.
Who said Honey Pop? Rachel said she heard Honey Pop.
Yeah. Chaos Buckaroo said Honey Pop.
Oh, I think I was taking my mask off.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, there we go. The 1 or the 2 with the threesomes.
I think he's saying the whole oeuvre. There we go. I got it eventually. All right, let's see here. I have a list of games that goes Super Metroid, Super Mario 64, Metroid Prime, Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. You can tell we really held back on the Nintendo choices because now it's Elden Ring, Metal Gear Solid 1, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Half-Life 2, Hitman World of Assassination, Street Fighter 2. Okay.
Did you not put Resident Evil 4 on there? I thought you said you were going to.
Yes, I meant to. Let me do that right now. Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil.
Okay. I look at this list and a few of them jump out at me. I don't think we're going to put Hitman World of Assassination as number 1. I really like that game, and honestly, it's probably like a strong contender for a number 2 or number 3 on this list. It's one that's like, I think everyone should play it, and everyone's not playing it.
As soon as you said that, 2 people in chat were like, "Is it just Hitman, guys?" I was like,
"Oh man, God, is it just Hitman?"
It's a case of the world failing Hitman because it really is like, hey, if it took off more, then you can almost say it. But oh well.
I mean, Hitman's better than just about any game anyone else is going to say. But all right, we got to start whittling stuff away. I
don't know if either of Tony Hawks are going to make it. I hate to say it.
Mike, I think actually Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 is the answer.
Jeff, that's like the one that should get out of here the least. Are you crazy? I don't want to be that guy. Because
I
I'm
think-
like the one who's going to be pushing for Resident Evil 4 remake. You're talking about a remake.
I don't care. I think that it is. So it's still Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, which is actually more important than 3, and it's a excellent remake of them, and it brings together all the controls. I think it's such a video game-ass video game. I think it's number 1.
Look, I mean, I agree with all that, and I like it. What is the... And we said importance matters. What the heck is the importance of
It's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
No, it's not. You're talking about the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 remake.
I don't care. It's still Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. It's still those games. Just because they gave it a new coat of paint, it's not like changed in any fundamental way. It's those games.
I'm just not seeing it, Jeff. I'm just not. I mean, I love those games, and I'm just not.
To me,
seeing
it is the right consensus answer because it actually
give me a beer. What?
Listen. I don't need these because chat's gonna say no to this because they weren't around for Tony Hawk.
They didn't bring any beer.
Oh my god, these damn brothers.
No, I mean, Jeff. Honestly, if you were pushing for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, I can maybe see it more. As soon as you put 1+2, I was a little.
Listen, I would be okay with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 then. If we just put Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 at the number 1, because I whenever I think about I just want to play a video game, the first game that pops in my head is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, I don't like 2 as much as I like 3. I don't know if I can. What is this? A Blackberry Sunset.
I know.
All right,
Listen, I know 3 is better, Christian. Definitely 3 is better.
Hey AJ, what's the best video game ever? Hurry up! Oh, shut up! He said Tetris.
What a lame answer.
God,
You
stupid.
missed it.
Hey, now he says Breath of the Wild.
Because that's where we're gonna end up putting something like Breath of the
How
Wild.
about okay, let's get back to getting rid of things then. I thought we would get. What else would you get rid of then? Like, I don't think we're gonna do Elden Ring. I think we both think there's some.
Right. Listen,
recency
I
thing
really
there.
like Elden Ring, but
I like Elden Ring a lot.
it probably give it a couple more years. I could probably put it at number 1, but it needs a little bit more time.
Chris, he's trying to push for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 as the best video game of all time.
I'm a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
They're very good, but no.
Just or any Tony Hawk's Pro Skater in general. Okay. I like it when you make it more of a nebulous Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which I know we can't say. That's almost a problem with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and I know it's a stupid problem. The spread is almost too even. It gets kind of hard to pick the one.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get that. All right. Well, then, what else are we getting rid of?
Okay, let me ask you between Super Metroid and Metroid Prime, because I think we actually have a problem here also. Because if you're put a gun to my head, which one do I think? I'd be like, I guess actually Super Metroid, and I think you might say Metroid Prime.
To be clear, I'm not saying we actually say any Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I'm saying we'll pick one. But okay, I would say Metroid Prime, but I'm fine with Super Metroid. But I also don't like Super Metroid. It was what EGM picked as their number 1 15 years ago or whatever. It kind of
15
feels
years ago.
Kind of feels like all right. Why do we even do
They might
this?
have been right.
If we're just gonna say Super Metroid again, what was the whole point of this?
Again, it's not like it was us. There's a lot of continuity.
Yeah,
there.
fair enough.
Nah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. You threw out your wild. You think that's the one?
Yeah.
I'll throw out what I think might be the one. Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh man. Okay.
I think that is just the most fun.
I was
video game to play.
if he said, I had another game in mind. If he says this one, I think that could be the consensus pick. And we could get out of here. But I won't say what that is now.
That game is just so much fun.
I know.
The only problem I could possibly think is why do I have to waggle sometimes? Why can't that just be a button? Oh well, I get over that. I could just play that game over and over again, getting every single stupid moon.
I'm about to just dig in on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater if these fucking children in chat won't stop fucking acting like it's insane to say the number 1 highest rated game in the history of Metacritic isn't.
You gotta make it worse.
An easy.
You gotta make it worse.
I'm gonna go Mike on this. I'm gonna just lose my mind.
Oh my god, you're not allowed to go Mike. Is this how uncomfortable everyone else gets when I get like this? Oh no.
All right. Okay. Odyssey also just feels like such a.
I like Odyssey more than Breath of the Wild.
I know you do,
and I love
but Breath of the Wild is better than Mario Odyssey.
I don't even know if I think, but there's no There are some compromises in Breath of the Wild, and I think that Breath of the Wild ending kind of stinks. I think the ending kind of stinks. Whatever, it's not that big a deal, but it's something. Odyssey, just the whole time, man, just what a ride. There's no low points.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I just like we're gonna come out of this and be like Super Mario Odyssey, the best game of all time. I don't know. It feels like not making
right.
a statement at all.
Let's start killing some darlings here. And as much I freaking love Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah, that's not gonna be
Gosh,
another
I will
solid
go
one.
to bat for that all the time. It's just not gonna happen here. I don't think, unfortunately. Maybe even Street Fighter 2, Resident Evil 4. Just don't think it's
Street
gonna
Fighter 2 is
happen.
the other one that I feel like we can like maybe like get like that feels like a consensus as well. Like that's just like Street Fighter 2. I know.
The problem with me on that one is compared to some of these other ones where it's like, yeah, and this one's still like really good. I think that future Street Fighter games are actually just a lot better than 2.
Yeah,
like there was so much
true.
evolution like that happened there. Like I would rather just play a 3, a 4, a 5, or now a 6. That's kind of my problem there. We haven't said anything about Mario 64 in a while, which is, again, I think it is tops in terms of the importance factor.
Right. We're not going to get Mario 64 there because it's going to be probably Odyssey, but it's going to be in any Mario
Yeah, I think
game.
Odyssey is going to bat for the Mario, for all of the Marios.
And frankly, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is just as good as Mario 64 in terms of being like a video game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This is why like there's so many games left. So for audio listeners, Super Metroid, Metroid Prime, Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 plus a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, a nebulous Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game, Half-Life 2, and Resident Evil 4.
This is great. Well, hey, look at the bright side. Very few people in chat are yelling at us about games we didn't include now. I was thinking like Chrono Trigger. Again, I feel bad not doing an RPG. I just don't think that's just not going to happen. I see Mario World. Well, you know me. You didn't go to bat for the 2D games. You know I'm Mister. I'll take any.
Yeah,
of
I
the
wasn't
3D
going to try
games.
that. Yeah.
We're even going to try that.
Mario. I mean, honestly, if I could say Mario World right now and get you to agree with it, I would 100% put that as the number one game. But I know it's not going to work.
I'm not going to happen. You haven't said you haven't said much about Half-Life 2.
Yeah, I don't want to make Half-Life 2 number one game.
That's fine.
Yep.
Get rid of that. See you later.
I don't know. 10 years ago, I would have easily said Resident Evil 4. Not easily, but it would have heard it out.
It is this weird thing where, like, because I do actually like the remake so much, and I do just like it better than the original.
Yeah,
that's like I don't know. That's almost makes it like hard to me to pick one or the other for greatest game of all time now. Can you pick a Tony Hawk game yet? Can you pick the one you want to go to bat for?
I mean, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is really what I would say.
Then make it 2. You can make it 2 then. You can make it 2. That can be the one. I would have gone with 3, but
I mean, 3 improves it, yeah, for sure. But if importance needs to be a big factor here, which it seems like it needs to be, then
it's not yet. It is a factor.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is like, yeah. Honest, I mean, God, it's so huge. All right. I guess it's just going to be Odyssey, I guess. Can we just say Metroid Prime?
I don't think Metroid Prime's as good as Odyssey. That's my problem. Here, chat. We're not going to do a vote. All of you, right now, type which one of these on our list is your favorite. Just type it all once. Don't spam. I'm curious to see. Do it right now. I kind of want to see some things fly here and see what people are thinking. Just a little interested. Okay.
It's gonna, but a lot of Breath of the Wild, I think.
That is a lot of Breath of the Wild.
I mean, honestly, it is the best game on the list.
Damn, that's a shit ton of Breath of the Wild. Good amount, a couple Super Metroids, Odyssey.
Yeah.
I think some Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. You know what's not getting a lot is Super Metroid.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a couple. I'm seeing some more now.
I do see some.
I'm seeing some now.
And some people specifically saying that it's better than Prime.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Can we just say Hades? That's a good one.
That's not a bad, but no.
I like
That's
that
a
a
good
lot.
game.
Man.
That's a very good game, actually. Yeah, well, that was a fun experiment. Didn't help at all.
No, definitely. Well, I mean, unless we just want to say Breath of the Wild, which again, do we want to say Breath of the Wild? Because again, why'd we do this after that GQ list?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but I think I have just enough problems with Breath of the Wild where I'm not going to.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't think I'm. Oh, here's the ones I don't think I'm going to say. I don't think I'm going to say Breath of the Wild. I don't think I'm going to say Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
I don't think I could be talked into those two.
Wait, you wait. What's that? So you're saying
I can't be talked into
Okay,
those.
okay.
I cannot.
All right.
So just to whittle things down even more, I think we get rid of Breath of the Wild and Resident Evil 4. And then
here, okay, so Breath of the Wild is the number one on my list. And I'm like looking for a game that I feel represents video games. And I think that of these four, the two I feel most strongly about, I've already said Tony Hawk. The other one is Super Metroid, I think, then. Can we say Super Metroid?
I like Super Metroid.
Okay, well, if you're
Sean's
good with
gonna
that,
be so mad. Super Metroid is so fucking good. It still is the game, baby. It's
It
still
rules.
the
It's-
game.
like I'm, my hesitation was just like it's been the game, but it does continue to be the game.
It's the game.
I would love to make it Metroid Prime, but which was probably like my number 3 or whatever. But Super Metroid, I'm totally fine with that.
I think we can make it Super Metroid.
I think that lives in that canon with Breath of the Wild and Tony Hawk and a few others from me. Super Metroid is just so crucial to how games got made after that, and was so and it wasn't as important right at that moment, but like for the 10 years afterwards, as it grew and its prestige grew, and it went from being, what was it on the 100 list from EGM, it was like number 5 or whatever, and then they made it number 1 like
up
a few years later. Like that's the arc of Super Metroid.
Right. And all these years later, I still like, again, it's like I even kind of say, like, when you talk about this to me, like that's kind of what I go to, is like, yeah, Super Metroid. Gosh, it's so good. Just sticks with me. Well, how about that?
There it is. All right, I'm gonna. We have decided the best game of all time. Let's see. I'll move this up there for the short list.
And look, there was a lot of good games. I'm sure, people are gonna be disappointed that like their favorite whatever didn't. But
fuck those games. The best one's Super Metroid. What do you want us to do?
We're the ones who get to decide this. So sucks to suck.
Yeah, you should have voted for someone else then. That's too bad for you.
Whoopsie.
Super Metroid's your best game of all time. I think that we've done some very good deciding here today, Mike. What have you been playing?
Oh gosh, what have I been playing? That Rocky game for the Xbox, which is surprisingly good. I played through that whole thing on stream. It's like surprisingly long. It took like 5 hours to go through that campaign for a fighting game. But yeah, it's just you're Rocky and you go through all the different movies, and like they have you fighting some jobbers. Like it's like some of them I think they make up, but some of them are like the scene where Apollo Creed's like looking through that book for names, and he'll like say a name like Big Tony George, and like no, he fools around too much. You get to fight Big Tony George.
Yes, you do. It's really amazing. The depths they had to plumb to make that game, and they did a really good job.
And like in between rounds, you get to like do these mini games to like level up your stats, and that's even kind of funny. Even like when it's bad, like the guy they got for Mickey doesn't sound like Mickey. Sometimes they just use audio like ripped from VHS, and it sounds terrible. And I kind of I love it. Like I basically like I first I just started playing it. I didn't really know what was going on. I went to training, learned like 4 combos to get me through, and then like it's like just kind of boxing. It's like I'm thinking about those combos, but I'm also thinking about my timing and kind of my movement and stuff. It was like simple, and it worked really well, and it felt really good, and it's Rocky, and I like Rocky. So it all worked out really well for me. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Jeff, how do you pronounce the name of that game that Konami made? That's a shmup. How do you pronounce that name?
Gradius? Is that the one we're talking about? Or
you fucking idiot.
Wait, is it Gradius?
You piece of shit. Mr. It's Galaga.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah, Galaga.
Asshole.
Okay.
Well, no, that's not it. I am talking about Gradius. The problem is you thought it was Gradius.
Yeah.
Mr. giving me shit about Galaga for years now.
Okay.
Since episode 1, as far as I can recall, I think
that
actually.
Sounds right. That's about right, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it really Gradius? Really?
Right, like a Gladius, like the sword. Oh, it's so obvious, like the sword. Oh, obviously, it's like Galaxy, Mike.
Well, why would it be like the fucking sword? Is you a flying sword? What? With an R?
Sure. Something like that. Look, you're very, hey, what have you been playing, Jeff?
I've been playing traveling. I went to an arcade in New
Yeah.
Jersey. That was pretty cool. We played some old games. I did play Gradius, apparently.
Oh, cool. I like the options. I like that they're called options. Those little things that follow you around and shoot.
Yes. Oh, yes. I love all the, like any sort of the shooters that have that like little drone thing that follow you around. Like,
Yeah. Are you
yes.
more of a Gradius guy or an R-type guy? Because I've been playing both of those as I sort of been
I
waiting
thought I was
for-
an R-type guy. I think R-type, as it like because it continued and had more iterations, I probably would be more R-type. But I think for those original ones, I don't know. Maybe I lean towards Gradius. Man, that's weird to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you know what else I got into? There was a bunch of pinball machines there. I played a ton of World Cup Soccer '94, the pinball arcade game.
Oh.
And it was-
Wasn't Bacalar a pinball guy?
Yes, he has a bunch of machines in his house that like, you know, he borrows from the companies or whatever for a while. And but we were so busy we didn't get to really play any. And then I played some outside of his house. But that World Cup Soccer game, surprisingly good, a lot of fun. I like a good, well-themed, not like obvious themed though, a pinball machine, a game, and how they like figure out how to like make it build on that theme. And it's like, oh no, there's a goal at the end and a goalie moving back and forth, and you try to time it so you get it past the goalie. And there's actually a move where you can get it to go in one of those divots that a lot of pinball machines have, where if you press the button at the right time, it'll shoot out of the divot. Well, that's the assist divot. So you shoot it there, and if you time the button press, because as soon as it goes in there, the goalie goes back and forth. And if you time it right, you could shoot it in the goal, and then you get an assist instead of a goal. And it's like, oh, that's a really clever idea. I really
That's really
like
fun.
that. Yeah, and it's
Let's become pinball freaks.
I would love that. Yeah, I really want to become freaks for like a specific game though, because it's fun to really learn
Yeah.
one game. I had a girlfriend in
Yeah.
high school whose dad got a pinball machine and put it in their basement, and he put like a big scoreboard. And like I honestly don't even remember the name of it now, but like I played it so much that I learned all the scoring mechanics and how to maximize your score. And it's like, okay, if I get the 4 slots at the top, and if I press the button, the different those slots like light up in a different way, and I can like make sure if the ball's going through there, I can change it real quick and get the one that's not lit up yet to light up. And if I get all of them light up, that multiplies my score. And it's like, oh yeah, figuring all that stuff out is really satisfying. But these boards are usually so complicated. It takes a lot of time to learn all those ins and outs. And so I played, like 10 games of that World Cup game, and I was starting to put some of that stuff together. It's like, okay, I get the goals, and if I get 4 goals, I kind of they stop really counting. I need to do some of the other missions to like it's set up like, because it was the '94 Cup, so it was North America, or it was United States actually, and it's like all these different cities in the United States. You have to like unlock one city after another. And I was just beginning to piece that
Jeez,
together.
That's a lot of mechanics.
Yeah, and that's like games in the '90s were very mechanics heavy, I think, and they've kind of gotten in some ways more complicated, in some ways more streamlined. But it was, it's like surprising, like, oh man, how do I actually make all this work? And do you have 3 balls to actually figure it out? But trying to figure out what the multi-ball mechanic is and trying to do that on every game is super satisfying and interesting. It's like once you can do that reliably, like that's a big factor.
One of the newer bars here has a bunch of pinball machines, and it's fun just to mess around with them. Although they had the one, which is Medieval Madness, which is like a really well-regarded pinball machine. It's super fun. There's this whole mechanic where you knock down the gate, and then you go inside the castle, and like the castle, like the towers beat themselves up. It's really cool. They actually got rid of it though, but that'd be like the one I would master, Medieval Madness.
And then I played some more Shadows of Doubt, but I'm still kind of like what's happened now is I've played through the tutorial like 3 times because I keep trying different stuff. And Shadows of Doubt is this immersive sim where you solve crimes, murders in a procedurally generated world. I talked a little bit, maybe last week on this show. I don't remember. But I keep doing the tutorial over and over, and I'll do kind of dumb stuff where I'm like, you know what? Someone ran in front of me and shouted some stuff. I'm going to go see what's going on with them. And usually it has nothing to do with the crime. It's just another crime is happening, and I bothered them too much. So they attacked me, and I kind of fell off a fire escape, and I broke my leg. So I was like looking for ways. I was looking for a splint to heal my leg, and I went to the hospital and ended up just actually stealing stuff because I couldn't find a splint. And it's like all these things can happen, and there's so many stories you could tell. I'm really enjoying that, but I'm also like, there's so much going on that I still don't have a grasp on how to even solve this first murder yet. But I continue to just really, really enjoy it. And that's the one I've been kind of playing on Steam Deck while traveling here and there. I also did like play Punch Out a bunch, either on the Analog Pocket or on one of the TVs at the arcade, because it's one of those like just pay up front.
Oh, were you impressing people?
It was honestly, Dan and Bacalar were playing NBA Jam, and then they came over and found me, and Bacalar's like, this is just sad because there's like a million ways for me to play Punch Out.
Yeah.
So I wasn't
addicted.
impressing anyone. If anything, I was just embarrassing myself. So
It's incredible.
Yeah, but it was really, the traveling was what I was doing. It was a good trip. It was really nice to get to hang out with those guys in person. We've done so a bunch of times now, but this was like one of those times where it was we had our meeting and it was just for us to hang out, and that was like nice because there was not a lot of pressure and not a lot of like, oh, everyone's got to be here and there. It was like, oh, we're gonna go over to Backlar's house and hang out.
You
for a
talk
while.
about me?
Constantly. Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Of course.
That's what everyone should do when I'm not around.
Yes, for sure. Everyone's asking when he's not around. They said, "Hey, where is he?
Where's Mike?
Where's Mike? Where's Mitch? Where's Mitch Tokoto?"
How
How about you, Mike?
A world without video game journalists? Yeah. Well, you know what, Jeff? I'll tell you what I'm really playing is I want to just thinking about Tears of Kingdom and about how I should actually be heading to that midnight launch soon. What would you mind if I read the rest of the super chats?
Let's do it. Hit them. Let's get
do
it. Let's get out of here. You're right. It's
Last
time.
call, people. Last call, by the way. Thank you all so much. There's been a ton of them, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks everybody. It means a lot that you guys tune in every week and that you support us
insane.
on an episode like this.
You listen to goobers like us. M. Goldie says, I Eurovisioned your top 100 list. It's Metroid Prime after Mike revised his list. Mario Odyssey was number 2. Mario Galaxy 2 was number 3.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
I think that
It's
sounds
funny.
right.
We did like, as much as we both love Galaxy, we were both just kind of like, we're not really talking about those because Odyssey.
Yes.
Isaac Clark says, congrats on 300. Listening for years now, and it's awesome to see you. 2 kings popping off. Also, Jeff, my wife now calls all crustaceans meeps.
I'll tell Addie. She'll love to hear that.
I'm glad meeps got over.
Yes, the meeps, of course, the meeps are going to get over.
Visualizer says, hi, hello, it's me, the dumbass who's scheduled to move apartments on May 13th. Ooh, hope everyone has a Merry Zelda weekend.
That's an oopsie whoopsie fucky wucky. What can we tell you?
Yeah, although I think I moved into my house right around when the Switch came out, actually.
I had a baby when the Switch came out.
Yeah.
And Breath of the Wild came out,
Well,
but that just means I had time. That means I had time off from work and I could play it a lot.
Well, the real worst thing was that fucking GDC, the worst conference was happening. So
Yeah,
I
I didn't
actually
go to
didn't go to that.
I didn't have to go to that.
My brothers were at like the midnight launch for the Switch.
I stayed home and played Breath of the Wild.
And I fucking hate GDC. Yeah, you didn't go to like the last 5 GDCs, you guys. After
I
a while,
had to
it's
change
like, well, of
diapers.
course Jeff's not going.
I had to change
Like,
diapers.
well, Jeff has like kids forever, so he never
I
has
had
to go.
like 50 kids. Well, I couldn't go to a
Yeah.
GDC.
Travel, sure,
Wow.
you travel a lot now. Huh?
Man, you are so selfish, man.
You sure
Wow.
do travel a lot
Listen to this
now,
guy.
don't you?
This is the selfishness of single people, everybody. This is what we deal with.
Big Fresh 37 says Viva Pinata. I like Viva Pinata. I don't like Viva Pinata as much as some people, I have to say.
I love playing Viva
Very
Pinata.
good.
I don't
They
think
should
about it
definitely
much
make a new
beyond
one.
that.
John Cody says, congrats on 300 episodes. It's been months since I've been able to watch live and chat as I've been super busy. I still listen twice a week while I'm making puppets, which is my job. Thanks
Hell
for the
yeah.
many hours of entertainment. Awesome, Cody. You think, Cody, you think you can make, like, do you think you can make puppets of
Hey,
us?
Cody, seriously, DM me. We literally began pricing out puppets for the cast of Giant Bomb. We set out a budget and everything. So DM me. If it's not possible, just tell me that's fine. But DM me. Let's see if we can make something happen.
Jeff, I know I'm not, like,
I mean, we'll see what we can do, Mike. We'll see what we can
I want
do.
to be a puppet.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. We all do.
Ariel Delgado says, I know it's a small game, but Dredge is quite good. I need to check out Dredge before the year's over.
Me
for
too.
sure.
Yes,
I bet that's gonna be like my December game. Like, I better play Dredge because everyone's talking about it for Game of the Year or something.
Yep.
Big Jimbo Ryan says, Jeff, welcome back. How many Xboxes do you have in your yard?
I mean, listen, there's about the normal amount, like 3 or 4.
That's right, because Jeff's been burying the Xbox.
That's right. That's right. I was out there with Jim Ryan. We were having a barbecue and burying Xbox.
Remember that weird year where we were like obviously Xbox fanboys and hate it and like we're mean to PlayStation? Now it's like we don't like their one game, and all of a sudden, and we said that maybe the other game didn't like sell super well. Oh well. L Grug says, "Boomer pick, Mike. Good pick for Jeff." Though.
Thank you. Of course.
That's fair, Grug.
Completely true.
Right out says, "Happy 300. I hacked my 3DS finally, and all I did was re-download Pocket Card Jockey Help." You saw that Game Freak is gonna make like some big game for who's he?
Private Division.
Like,
yep, I did see that.
Okay.
That is that continues to be very weird.
Seraphis Kane says, "Congrats on 300. Glad to have found you all. We are glad to have found you, Seraphis.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much." Andres Riano says, "I just started playing Breath of the Wild. Have you guys slept on a game that then you found it to be amazing? Also, should Penny have a RoboCop costume, a RoboPup costume,
Yes,
their own
you should.
RoboPup costume. That's incredible. Yeah, there are definitely games that I came to like way too late, and then I didn't realize I liked them. It actually took me a while to play KOTOR. It was quite a bit later when I played KOTOR and realized, oh yeah, this game actually is amazing. Oh, like I told you about this. I shared it with you. Shinobi 3 for the Genesis.
Oh yeah,
I
there.
did
That's
not
a
have
good
that
one.
game as a kid.
Same.
And like only played it when it was came to like NSO and stuff. That game rules. That's a fun game.
Yeah, absolutely. CO Gaming asks, what is the best way to donate to you guys to maximize the amount? That continues to be the Patreon, patreon.com/GameMess. That is the best way. They have the best split, and that's the best way to support us.
But any way you do, it's always good.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
Whatever's most convenient for you is fine with us.
Yep. Burrito says, congratulations on the big 3, guys. Thank you, Burrito. And then Phil Spencer says, why were you with Jim? What about me? Sorry, Phil, haven't you heard? We don't like you anymore, apparently.
Yeah, read the internet.
He
Sorry,
didn't
Phil.
get the memo. All right, I think that's everything. I think we are, in fact, caught up. All right. Hey, we did. Thank you all so much. That
Thanks,
was so
everybody.
much fun. That was a good time. We will be back next week with just normal episodes of Last of the Nintendogs and Game Mess Decides. I promise it'll still be fun, but we got some Zelda to play. We'll be talking
Yes.
about our first impressions on Last Nintendogs. That's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna like spend this next hour like continuing to plan out SGF stuff. Been doing that. I tried to do that all day
We're going to
today.
be there together. It's
Yeah, we're gonna be there
fun.
together. We got some
We're going to
fun.
meet a lot of people. I'm going to meet Dan for the first time in
Yes,
person.
we're gonna make some fun stuff happen. So yes, that's when I'm God, that's taking up all my time when I have any minutes. And I'm not a natural sort of scheduler or planner, but I'm forcing myself into it, and it's working. We're getting
You can
there.
do it.
Yes,
I believe in you.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope everyone checks out the new Robo Mitch, which might, I mean, I don't want to like toot horns here. It might have the all-time Blake Club moment on Robo Mitch
I mean,
today.
I think
It
it
was
is the
insane.
quint. I think it is the. It is what Blight Club should be. Is that
And-
moment right there? It is
and if
the
you
best
wanna-
example of that.
If you want to learn what a Poop City Slamma Jamma is, and I know you do, you gotta watch the newest
You
Voice Built
really
Dumb Truck on
don't
Giant
want to,
Bomb.
but you have to.
Yes, you do.
You have to.
it's fun to say. Thank you, Chris.
Him and Goldie, I'll mostly be doing the hosting on the late night show. Backlar's actually got his scheduling got messed up for that, so he's mostly not gonna be able to make it, which is a shame.
Oh, don't worry, I'll be there, buddy.
He has terrible FOMO about that stuff, so he's getting bummed out. I'm like, it's okay, you got the family stuff. But I'll be hosting that stuff where I'm putting the whole thing together, so it'll be fun. All right, Mike, where can people find you?
Twitter, Twitch, TolKoto, TolKoto. I want to get to 10,000 followers, and next time GQ wants to make a stupid list, they don't forget about me.
I didn't forget about me. You can go see what the consensus #1 game is at GQ, where I put my vote in, and Mike didn't. So Tony Hawk's wasn't #1 on there, unfortunately.
It would have been a Mega Man game if I didn't. Look, I didn't even bring up any Mega Man games, you know? That's how diplomatic I am. I get
Wow,
it.
look how big he
I get
is,
it.
everybody.
I'm a hero.
Till next time. Bye, everybody.
Hero.
What are you doing?
Master Chief comes.
Yeah, well, I fucked your mom. Why did I even say that?